All right, all right, all right. Had a couple of minor difficulties, guys. I think we're good to go. Got some tea to keep my voice good. Stand up, New York Giant fans. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Wilfred? What's going on, Dennis, King, Andy, Christopher Cracker, and that was Fred Humphrey, and that was BK, Jake Paul, Peter Turner. I saw Bear was in here, Mark Edgel, Lefty in the house. I know we got Lloyd in here, a bunch of other people. Afghanistan's in here, of course. Thank you guys for being here. Jawad's in the house, John Williams, Hakeem. What's going on, my man? Thank you guys for being here. The NFL draft is finally complete. The New York Giants brought in a couple of undrafted free agents, notably a bunch of wide receivers, a couple of running backs. Definitely going to have some more videos up on those guys. I kind of broke down the receivers today. Probably break down a couple of the running backs tomorrow. I know we got one from, I think it was Austria. So that'll be interesting to cover that. Couple other really interesting stories. Obviously, we heard the news about Marcus Golden. Whether or not that means he'll be a New York Giant, well, that remains to be seen. We'll have to wait and see. July 22nd, I believe, is the deadline, and we'll find out if Golden's a Giant by then. And it's going to be in the $4 to $5 million range. So there's some of the news for today. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more news the next couple of weeks. And recapping the draft, I thought the Giants had a amazing draft. I couldn't have asked for a much better draft. If you want to nitpick, yeah, sure. But they addressed what needed to be addressed. I've been talking for about 5 months that we need to go tackle in the first round. They did that. Not only did they do that, they doubled up on the tackle in the third round. And then they got a guard who might be able to compete for that center with Lemieux in the 5th round. I also love the 2nd and 4th round picks. I love everything. I love everything that they did. I thought they had a fantastic draft, and they set themselves up for the future. Couldn't have asked for much more if you were a New York Giants fan in this draft, as far as I'm concerned. I thought it was a great draft. Oh, Sergeant, man, thank you so much, man, for becoming a member, man. I really appreciate that, man. Stand up, new members. Sergeant G always showing me love on Twitter, man. I appreciate that, man. Welcome to the channel, man. I really appreciate that. And what's going on, Mariano? Thanks for popping in the stream. I was hoping for more hogs, but we got 3 new hogs, man. We got 2 new tackles. We got Lemieux, who could play both the guard and the center. I was happy, man. I was happy with what we got. The kid that we got from UConn, Peart, I think that's how you pronounce it, has the upside to be a really good tackle in the NFL. So all around, I was really happy with how everything worked out during the NFL draft. We built towards the future. We didn't just think for the present. Peart could be the right tackle for the next decade. Same could be said for Andrew Thomas. We got Lemieux, who we hope could be the center. If not, he'll be the guard that could fill in for Zeitler if and when he moves on. Andrew brought the hogs. Always like when that happens. And Colombo is making a hog sandwich. Chris, I'm loving the Carter Coughlin pick. Yes, Hakeem. I'm going to make a video on him, but I love a lot of things I've read about that kid. Really interesting stat. I don't remember the exact stat. I got to find it again. But I think he got the second most pressures percentage-wise in college football last year, like on 20% of his rushes or something like that. It was pretty impressive, but I'm going to look more into him. I'm looking forward to breaking down the later round prospects as well. Tomorrow, obviously, I'm going to do Peart. I'm going to do one a day, in terms of that, and then, mix in other videos as well. Jay, man, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate it. Better draft, Jets or G-Men. Who wins more next season? Good question. And thank you for the love. Jets had a pretty good draft. I don't remember their entire draft. I know that they traded down. They still got Denzel Mims. You got, you obviously got the Lime. I didn't want him, but at number 11, it's a pretty good pick. He's got a high upside there. The Jets had a good draft. I don't, I'm not a Jet fan, so I didn't follow the Jets draft really after the 3rd round, but I really like the beginning of your draft. Denzel Mims was one of the best value picks in the draft. In terms of wins and losses next year, I love what you guys did with your offensive line this season, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know your schedule, but I think the Giants and the Jets are going to be pretty comparable next year, if I'm being honest. I think they're both around 8 wins, 7, 8 wins. I'm optimistic about the Giants, though. I really am. I'm just not trying to be overly optimistic. I don't want fans to get too big-headed and think that this team's a playoff team, is going to win a Super Bowl. But I do think the Giants, if they can establish that identity as a run-first team behind an improved offensive line, I do think the Giants could at least compete for the playoffs. I do believe that. We do have a very tough schedule, though. So based off our schedule without knowing the Jets, I can't imagine the Jets' schedule is tougher than ours. So maybe the Jets going in right now, maybe a game better than the Giants. But I think they're both around the same. Simon with the $2 donation. I really appreciate that. He says, dreams do come true. Triple-decker hog sandwich. That's what this draft was all about, Simon. And my dog is already barking. That's what this draft was all about, man. It was about building the future and the present, but they set this offensive line up for the next 10 years. And I couldn't be happier. I was worried going in that they weren't going to do that. I really was. I was worried they weren't going to do that. Being that Gettleman's on the hot seat, and, I love what Gettleman did. Regardless of whether he gets fired or not, he built this team the right way. This was the right year to do it. I know fans didn't want to hear that. All my polls fans were voting 75% linebacker. They wanted Simmons, and I get it. The defense has been horrible. They want to improve this team as quickly as possible. But the right move was to fix that offensive line for Daniel Jones going into the second year of his career and making sure he's got a bright future for the next decade. So I was very happy that the Giants elected to do that. It was the right thing to do. It was the right time to do it in a tackle-rich draft. I was all about it all offseason. I was very happy when the Giants did what they did. What's going on, MH? Yeah, that's right. Beef it up. Fahad says you missed on Simmons for Arizona. I don't think we missed on him. I'm not saying he's not going to be great. He wasn't the right pick for the Giants. That's my honest opinion. I think they needed to go tackle. Oh, thank you so much, man. Speak with the $5 super sticker. Keep it up. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Paula, man. I really appreciate that. And let me get some tea. And the other thing that I think should make Simmons people a lot happier, guys, we got Xavier McKinney. Xavier McKinney was a guy I didn't talk about, was a guy that wasn't on my radar, was a guy that wasn't on a lot of New York Giants YouTubers' radar because nobody had him mocked to the Giants. Nobody thought he was going to be there at 36. Xavier McKinney, I'm not saying he's Simmons, but he's incredibly versatile. The guy, you can move him around the field, was a really good value pick. I love that pick, and that to me solidified that we should have went tackle with the first pick. You were able to get McKinney as a, I love the fact that we were able to get McKinney. I never thought in a million years we were going to get him where we were picking. It's a really good pick. He fits our defense, and the first two rounds went perfectly. The third round, I suppose you could argue that maybe we should have went center, maybe we should have tried to go with a pass rush or whatever it may have been, but the Parrott pick was about the future, and it kind of gives you more flexibility in next year's draft. Now you don't have to worry about that other tackle. If Parrott works out, you go with the wide receiver or you go with the edge rusher next year's draft, wherever you're picking, and you address that need as you continue to help out your quarterback. But I love what they did. What's going on, Jeremy? Thanks for popping in the stream. Jake Paul with the thumbs up. I appreciate that. I love McKinney. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but I love McKinney. I love this defense, man. I love this. I'm not going to say yet, but I love the direction that this defense is headed in. This secondary has a lot of versatility after some of the pieces they've brought in. And some of the pieces they brought in last year are very versatile. I think a lot of guys, we've said it time and time again, there's 4 or 5 guys on this defense that I think are going to fit this defense beautifully. And I think Joe Judge and the defensive coordinator is going to get a lot out of him. Oh, Asia with the $5 super stick. He says, how's it going? How's it going with you, Asia? Thanks for popping in the stream. One of my best. Glad that you're here. My man, Rudy T in the house. McKinney pacified me from not taking Simmons. I love our picks now. Exactly. I think McKinney, Rudy, I think McKinney definitely, for all the people that wanted Simmons, I think now you should be happy. I'm not saying he's Simmons, but you still got a really good defensive playmaker. You got your tackle, and then you doubled up on the tackle, and you really built this foundation for Jones to succeed going forward. Did we fill all the holes? No. But you can't fill all the holes in one draft. You just can't. We'll continue to build next year in free agency and the draft, and I like where this team's headed. Daniel saying with the $2 donation, I really appreciate that, man. He says, Chris, what's your updated DJ stats, assuming the line is vastly improved? All right, I'll get to that in a second. I have a great feeling about Darnay Holmes. Yeah, I like that pick, too. That was a guy I didn't do a lot of research on either, but after he got picked, I did my research. I'm going to have a video up on him as well. I really liked him. A lot of guys in my live stream were not in love with that pick when it happened because obviously we got Love. They're saying, why are you taking a slot corner? There's a lot of other needs, but it just adds to versatility. You play him at the nickel. The guy's got incredible athletic ability. Really like that pick as well. I like what they did. They went for the best player available. He was regarded as a third-round pick with an early round fourth grade. That's where they got him, so couldn't really argue with that pick either. It gives us more versatility, and the dogs are barking. My updated DJ stats. I mean, I'm hoping DJ, I don't want him to throw the ball. I'm hoping for 4,000 yards because I want them to be able to run the ball. If you want the New York, in my opinion, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion, there's nothing against Daniel Jones. It's more in the defense. If you want this team to be a winning football team next year, you don't want Daniel Jones airing out the football. You want to keep that defense rested. You want to keep the opposing offense off the field. To do that, you want to be able to ground and pound. So if the Giants are going to have a good year next year, to me, Daniel Jones isn't airing out the football. Daniel Jones isn't throwing for 4,700 yards. I want 3,900, 4,000 yards, efficient football, hold on to the football, don't throw picks, and turn and hand the ball to Barkley. Run the ball down their throat, establish the ground game. That is how the New York Giants are going to win football teams with the way the team is currently constructed. You have the best running back in football, you use them. It's only going to make Daniel Jones' life easier. It's going to make the defense's life easier. So to me, if the Giants are going to have a successful year, Daniel Jones ain't throwing for more than 4,100 yards. That's my personal opinion. And Danny Mohica with the $2 donation. So close to Tuska. I know. Tuska went the pick before. I was so upset on now. Who knows if we would have taken him? But regardless, he would have been an undrafted free agent if we didn't. Would have had the opportunity to take him that way. I was surprised. There were a lot of good things written about him. I really thought he'd be a 5th-round pick. Didn't think he would basically go undrafted. So I was a little upset we didn't get him. But it is what it is. We'll see how he turns out in the NFL. I know that he was a fan favorite, a guy that I was rooting for the New York Giants to draft. 28. If you give me 4,000 yards, 28, 29, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks, 10 picks, I'm happy with that. If this team is going to win next year, I'm going to make a video on this, but if this team is going to win next year, Saquon Barkley is going to get the ball early and often because you're going to keep your defense rested, you're going to keep the opposing offense off the field, and you're going to hide that inexperienced defense. The Giants' strength right now is the offensive line. You got to use it. You got the best running back in football, and that's what we're building towards. So that only helped Daniel Jones. I don't want Daniel Jones throwing for 5,000 yards. That's not how the New York Giants are going to win football games. I care about winning games. I don't care about fantasy stats. Did you hear about the league starting in October? I did not hear about that, New York Finest. Oh, Kevin, man, thank you so much for love, man. I really appreciate that. $10 donation. He says, we killed 2 birds with 1 stone going offensive line, helping Barkley and Jones. Simmons could turn out to be a Leonard Floyd-type player who becomes a so-so player. You're right. The safer pick to me was the tackle also. I think it's safer. Simmons, we've seen, he could be a superstar. But Simmons could, there's been plenty of players that have been regarded like him, coming in, generational this, generational that. The guy is positionless. The guy was a risk. I'm not saying it wasn't a good risk. If we were going defense, that's who I wanted. But I'm with you. The safer pick was always the tackle, especially a tackle like Andrew Thomas. Guy that's been as consistent as he has. We needed a left tackle. It was the right pick at the right time. I stand by that. Asia with the $2 donation. Is Carter Coughlin related to Tom Coughlin? He is not. But the interesting thing with that, Asia, I looked it up after the fact because I wanted to see if he was related to Tom Coughlin. His grandfather, his name is Tom, but it's not our Tom Coughlin. But no, he's not related to Tom Coughlin, but it's a player I'm really looking forward to. Charlie with the $2 donation. Check what I sent you on Instagram. I love Joe Judge. I will check it after the stream. I don't go on Instagram a lot, but I will check it after the stream, and I'll definitely respond to you. Thank you for the love, man. I appreciate that. And Cock Lobster with the $5 donation. Giants fans, we need linebackers. Also, Giants fans, why do we draft these linebackers? It's true. It's true. It's true, Cock Lobster, my favorite name on YouTube. The Giants haven't drafted a linebacker since 1984 in the first round, and we complain all the time that they don't draft linebackers, and now they didn't draft them early, but they drafted, how many did they draft? 4? We'll see how they all play out, but I think a lot of them were drafted for special teams purposes, maybe a depth piece here and there. I don't think any of them really, other than Coughlin, in my opinion, are going to have a huge role with this team, and even Coughlin might not. I think he has the best chance of the guys that we drafted the 6th round or later to carve out a niche for this team this year. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But regardless, I think he views them as depth pieces. I think he views them as guys that will help on special teams. Chris Devers with the $5 donation. Lamb to Dallas, I'm in love with. How is a New York fan? How do you feel? And Barkley isn't the best, hurt, and hasn't been a leading rusher. Facts, being honest. Statistically, he's not the best. I think talent, he's the best. If he could stay healthy. And let's keep this in mind, Chris Devers. And I'm going to be honest. His rookie year in the league, he led the NFL in yards from scrimmage behind one of the worst offensive lines in football. Can you imagine what the kid could do behind a good offensive line? What the New York Giants are starting to build. So that's what I'm excited about. We'll have to see how it plays out. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb's going to be a problem for us, but I'm happy that you guys got him because if you didn't, I don't think we would have gotten Xavier McKinney. So that's the way I look at it. I think we benefited because you guys got CeeDee Lamb. But obviously, he's going to be a problem for us. He's going to be hard to guard. Jose Castillo with the $2 donation. He says, what up? What up with you, my man? Thanks for popping in, man. And what's going on, Hayward Bay, man? First, I want to say thank you for becoming a member. I saw that earlier before the stream, so thank you for that. And a $5 donation. He says, I played line in college. Lemieux could have started at center in college, but he was too valuable at the guard. Guards need to be strong enough to one-on-one. That's what a lot of people have said about Lemieux. I'm gonna do it in order. I'm gonna do one a day. I'm gonna do Parrott tomorrow, so on and so forth. So I'm gonna get them in 3 days. But that's what a lot of people have said about him. They've said that he's better suited the way he's built to be a center. So I definitely think he's gonna come in. He's at least gonna compete for that starting center job. And at the worst case scenario, you have a guy that's going to replace Zeitler in 2 years if you decide to move on or cut him if he gets injured or he struggles this year, because he only carries a $2 million dead cap, but I think he'd free up $12 million. So Lemieux, again, was a forward-thinking pick. It wasn't so much a now pick, but in the 5th round, that's what you should be looking to do. But thanks, Philip, man. I appreciate that. And Blinky with the stand-up new member. Welcome to the channel, Blinky, man. I really appreciate that, man. Do you think the Giants? Do I think the Giants won? I think the Giants, there's a lot of things I could say about thinking the Giants. I think that they're going to be a better team. I think that Joe Judge is a good coach. I think we're headed in the right direction. What kind of that's a mutt, Noel. That's a mutt. I like Cam Fleming. I like Cam Fleming, too. We'll have to wait and see how he plays out, but I like some of the things he's had to say, that's for sure. He's definitely anti-Dallas, and there's nothing wrong with that. What's going on, Frosty? Thanks for popping in the stream. Chris, you the man. Don't coddle the Simmons lovers. They don't get it. They're still crying. Yvonne, let them cry, man. Let them cry, Yvonne. Let them cry. I was consistent the whole time. I'm not changing my opinion on that. I always wanted to tackle. And it was the best thing for this football team, even though it might be boring. Blue Jackets talk with the $2 donation. I appreciate that. He says, right now, what position do you want next year? What position do I want next year? I mean, that's hard to say. I don't know where we're going to be drafting. I don't know, what this team is going to look like in terms of injuries, in terms of how players progress. But to me right now, I want an edge rusher. That to me is by far our biggest need right now. It's the second most important position on a football team. Right now, if we were starting to draft right now, edge rusher, wide receiver, an elite wide receiver. I think they could certainly target that soon to help out Daniel Jones. Center, edge rusher, wide receiver, center. Those would be my 3 guys right now, 3 positions that I'd be looking for next year's draft. But things may play out. We don't know. Maybe Lemieux works out to be a great center. Maybe we find a diamond in the rough at wide receiver. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But that's the way I look at it right now. And Yuri with the $5 donation. Thoughts on the edge rusher of the Giants just signed unrestricted free agent from Dartmouth, 6'5", 270. He's a beast. I saw him. I'm going to do a video on him. I got to do more research. I saw him. I don't know a ton about him. A lot of my subscribers have told me about him. I got to do more research. I got to look at the highlights and things that people have said about him. But I'm looking, my voice was killing me yesterday, and I couldn't even make any videos, so I wanted to catch up on some of the news that I missed. I kind of just relaxed yesterday, and I'm catching up on it, but I'm definitely going to have some videos up on those guys, including him. A lot of my subscribers have talked about him. They talked about the running back from Austria. I'm looking forward to having videos up on all of them. I'm going to try to stretch out the content so I keep everybody entertained, and you guys have something to watch every day for the next hopefully month, recapping the draft, talking about prospects, talking about the future. I'm going to dive into next year's draft class. I'm going to dive into free agency next year, talk about the cap situation, talk about the schedule. I'm going to try to stretch this out to at least mid-May, late May, and then hopefully by then we have an idea where football is going. But thanks for love, man. I appreciate that. And my man, the Hub, with a $5 donation. And if you have not gone over to the Hub, I don't know what you're waiting for. He was Andrew Thomas's biggest supporter, either him or Mike Too Nice. But he was my offensive. He was a hog molly. He was a hog molly guy. And the Hub's a great guy. He says, a phrase used too often, but it actually applies here. The defense is being built the Patriot way, secondary focused, built back to front. 100%. And the Giants are going to try to generate a pass rush with the strong secondary and the strong interior defensive line. They're going to use Peppers in a multitude of ways. They're going to use all these guys, McKinney, as blitzers. Right now, this defense doesn't have an elite edge rusher, but the Patriots never really did either. They generated the pass rush with the rest of their defense. That's exactly what the New York Giants are doing. They're doing it the Patriot way. Great call, Hub, and going over there and check them out. And we got time. Another guy with a YouTube channel. I'm going to have him on once things cool up a little bit, hopefully in a week or so. I want to have a bunch of people on. Go check him out as well. Big Giant fan. $2 donation. He says, love how we address the offensive line. Love the Hogs. Love the Hogs, my man. I'm glad everybody came around to that. Lefty with the $2 donation. Did you see the list of undrafted players we got? Yes, I did. The wide receivers obviously was the most. We brought in 4. I think out of our 14 signed undrafted free agents, 4 wide receivers. I'm going to do videos on the rest of them tomorrow. But yeah, you hope a couple of those guys can crack the roster, contribute on special teams, maybe contribute as starters. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. But that's something you definitely got to pay attention to. Most years you'll find one or two guys there that contribute to the football team, sometimes in a major way. See Victor Cruz. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out, but I'm excited. Andrew Marchese, one of my best, man. Glad you're here, buddy. $2 donation. He says, Thomas plus Hernandez plus Saquon equals screen pass touchdown. Love it. Love it. And can you imagine once we get the whole line situated with Saquon Barkley in a year? After this year, I think the line will be even better. You'll have more experience on that line. Maybe add another lineman in the draft. Saquon Barkley is going to feast. If you could get a top 10 offensive line for Saquon Barkley, are you kidding me? That is going to make Daniel Jones' life so much easier. It's going to make the defense's life so much easier. The New York Giants invested the second overall pick in the best weapon in football, as far as I'm concerned. You have to utilize it to its max potential, and that's what they're starting to do. Jose Castillo with the $5 donation. Barkley was the better pick for Simmons. I'm sorry. Why did I read Barkley? Simmons was the better pick for. However, Thomas is with the 4th overall pick. Sometimes you have to pick for need as long as you don't overreach. Well, that's basically what Gettleman said. He said if we view two players as close enough and one is a much bigger need, we're going to go with the much bigger need. And everybody always says you draft the best player available. That's nonsense. That's not the case. A lot of times if a player is close and is a much bigger need, you're going to draft that player, and it's not always with the quarterback position either. And you could argue that. Here's what I'll say though. I don't necessarily think Andrew Thomas is a worse prospect than Isaiah Simmons. I really don't. It's just that one plays the tackle position, the other's a flashy linebacker. I'm not taking anything away from Simmons. Thomas was regarded as an elite tackle prospect. It just seems like everybody forgot about him because everybody was knocking him down their mocks. But the news that came out after the draft, Miami was looking to trade up to jump the Giants to get him. So I do think Andrew Thomas was an elite tackle prospect. Thanks for the love. LP Sports Corp with a $5 donation. Evan Ingram, injury prone. Should we get rid of him? Well, he's still got value. Here's what I'll say about Evan Ingram. People have asked me about him a lot. Right now, I don't think it's the right time to sell. And I'm all for selling Ingram for the right price, but I don't think you're going to get the right price. He's coming off an injury. He's in a walking boot by all accounts. Hasn't been able to show that he's healthy. If you're going to trade Ingram, I personally think, and they're going to have to decide this within the next week for both Ingram and Peppers, I would extend both of them on the rookie deals because they're cost effective. Ingram on his next year is only $6 million a year. I think Peppers is going to be about 8.5, 9, which isn't that bad when you factor in the new market. I would extend both of them. It would make Ingram more attractive in the trade market because the team acquiring him would have him for only $6 million a year on the 5th year of his deal. If you don't extend him, it makes him less attractive. I would look to trade Ingram in season if the team's not doing well, but he is. That's when you'd get your most value. Or you hold on to him for another year. Thanks for love, man. I appreciate it. $5 donation from Asia. I appreciate that. She says, Chris, are you still laughing at the Eagles quarterback? I am. And you know what's funny, Asia? You still have Eagles fans and football fans in general that are defending that pick. And I don't understand it. The pick doesn't make any sense to me. And maybe it'll blow up in my face. Maybe it'll blow up in everybody's face that's not an Eagle fan. Eagles fans included hated the pick. And maybe it'll look like a good one. To me right now, it was a dumb pick for a team that has a horrible salary cap situation. They're a win-now team. You just extended your quarterback. I don't understand the rationale behind that pick. And you could have got him at least a round later. J-Man with the $2 donation. Risa John equals... I don't want to set those kind of expectations, right? Because we've done that before with other prospects that we've drafted. He's definitely an exciting prospect that we're all going to watch and target and see how it works out. Pretty impressive numbers. 6'7". Guy runs a 4.6 40. Pretty impressive. So he's got some potential. Like I said with the other prospect, you can't teach speed. Same thing with height. You can't teach height. A guy that's 6'7" at the bare minimum should at least be a solid red zone target for Daniel Jones, even if he is a raw prospect. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he progresses in training camp, for sure. Jimmy G, please be good, please. Oh, what do you mean, Jimmy G? Talking about, Jimmy Graham? If that's what you mean, I don't think he'll be that good, but hopefully he's a productive player. That's all you can ask. Harry Kim with the $5 donation. Still alive, just hibernating since sports are dead. Love the Cowboys draft. Still laughing about CeeDee Lamb. Harry Kim, I hear you, man. That's what I try to do here. I try to talk sports since there's not much to watch on TV right now. And, yeah, I know sports are dead right now, but hopefully it seems as if positive things are coming out. And I think we're going to get football this year, and we might even get baseball. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if you're going to have stadiums. But as far as your Cowboys draft, I hate to say it, Cowboys had a fantastic draft. I don't remember all the picks you had, but I remember thinking every pick you guys were making was a strong pick. Cowboys had a good draft. A really good draft. They got good value with a lot of picks. And, I would probably say right now you guys might be the favorite going into the season. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But if you're a Cowboy fan, you got to be pretty happy with the way you guys drafted. And DJ Smooth with the $2 donation. Golden or Clowney, Chris? I don't think we're bringing in Clowney. I know the reports have come out that it's been lowered to $13 million. We might be getting Golden. We're going to have to wait and see how that all plays out with that situation. If we get Golden on $4.5, $5 million, whatever it equates to be, I don't think it's going to be much more than 5. Maybe my math was off a little bit. That's a good deal. And I'm not even a Golden guy bringing him back, but for that price, $5 million for a guy that could get after the quarterback, they don't grow on trees. Even if he's limited in this defense, he's worth that price. $5 million is nothing. So I'd be completely open for that price. I still think he's going to get an offer. Maybe he won't. Maybe he will. We'll see. But I'd be completely for him. I don't think we're bringing in Clowney. Anthony Marchuka, subscriber number 350. What's going on, Anthony, man? Been with my channel forever. Always showed me so much love on my channel. One of my best. I remember when I first started. Always showed me words of encouragement. Glad to see you here. Now I see you on Twitter. Sometimes you like my tweets. So glad to see you here, man. Great supporter of my channel. Great New York Giant fan. And thank you for the love, man. I appreciate that. And we got a lot of hogs in the chat. I like seeing that. Malik with the $5 donation. Hey, Chris, what's up? So remember I told you and all the Simmons fans that there are players similar to Simmons in the late rounds. And like I said, second round. Yeah, well, you're right. Now, I'm not going to say he's identical to Simmons, but in the versatility aspect, you can move him around. The guy played, I couldn't believe the stat when I read it. In the last 2 years, he had over 450 snaps at 3 different roles in the defense, whether it's in the slot, whether it's, as a cover 2 safety. He was all over the field. So he's going to bring versatility to the New York Giants, something that we wanted with Isaiah Simmons. I think that was the strongest attribute. Now, is he as good as Simmons? Probably not. Simmons is a better athlete, but I do really like Xavier McKinney. It was a slam dunk pick. We got a top 20 player at number 36. You can't argue with that. Big fan of that pick. And Rich, what's going on, man? $5 donation. He says, if Golden stays for roughly $4 million, we can't let him go to another team. If it's only a matter of $1 or $2 million more, RD is much better with him. I don't want to give him 8 or 9. I don't blame them for not wanting to give him 8 or 9. But if even $6 million, I'm with you. $5 million, $6 million, $5.5 million, I'll give it to him. I don't love him in this defense, but he still adds some value, even if it's a situational pass rusher. We know that Patrick Graham wants to have all these different formations. You go back and look at the film, he's got certain situations where he's got 6 stand-up pass rushers at one time. Marcus Golden would fit that mold. So he would add value to this defense, and he'd be at a very cost-effective rate. At that price, I think you do it. I do. I don't even love Marcus Golden, but at that price, I think you do it. But thank you, everybody, for being here. Jose Castillo with the $2 donation. Need Iron Man. Not tonight. Not tonight. I got no voice, Jose. No voice. But I will be doing that at some point, but not tonight. I'm drinking tea, so I have some kind of voice to talk to you guys. But he says, I need the Iron Maiden cover tonight. Hello, sorry. I'm not tonight, man. I got no voice tonight, but I will do it at some point. Jamal, man. Another one of my great subscribers. Been here forever. I think he found me from Rover's channel. Great supporter of my channel. Glad to see you here. Do you think Joe Judge is a little full of himself? I do not. I honestly do not. I do not think Joe Judge is full of himself. I think Joe Judge is confident. I think he knows what he wants. I think he knows how he wants it. And I think I want that in my coach. I don't want to coach this timid. I want a coach who's a leader, a guy who knows what he's talking about, and that to me is what Joe Judge is. I'm happy with Joe Judge. I couldn't be happier with the way he's handled this entire offseason. It's been a collaboration with him and Gettleman. I think they work very well together, and I like Joe Judge. I think he's going to be a great head coach. I really do. Now, I can't say that definitively until I see them on the field, but I like all the things I'm hearing. That's for sure. Biggest steal of our draft. I mean, to me, the biggest steal of the draft, who has that? Weiss. Biggest steal of our draft to me, it's one of 2 players. Xavier McKinney, I think, was a steal at 36, and I think Shane Lemieux. You got really good value there in the 5th round. I think he should have been at least a 4th round pick based off what I read. One of the better guards in the class. I know it was a thin guard class, but I really like Shane Lemieux. I would go with McKinney or Lemieux. I'd probably slightly lean McKinney because he was supposed to be a mid-1st round pick. You got him in the early 2nd, but both of them were steals. Both of them were really good picks, and I was very happy with both of them. And Jamal, thank you so much for the $2 donation. He says he's not Bill Belichick. Just ask Matt Patricia. Well, no, I'm not saying he's going to be Bill Belichick. Doesn't need to be Bill Belichick. Nobody's Bill Belichick. I just didn't be a good head coach, and we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But no, you're right. I get the point. Okay, I get the point, Jamal. Prior New York Giant coaches have failed miserably. Belichick coaches rather failed miserably when they went off to other locations. I like him. I like Flores as well. I think Flores did a good job with the Dolphins last year. Judge and Flores are very similar. They both prefer the same coaches. I mean, Judge took all of Flores' coaches away from his staff. So they're both very smart. They're both young. They both learned under Belichick. I like Judge. I think he's going to do a good job here. DJ Smooth with the $2 donation. Judge will be better than Rivera and McCarthy. I'll be the first to say I was in favor of Rivera. You look back, but I didn't know anything about Judge. But you go back, look at my video on Judge. I never thought the Giants were going to hire Judge. Even when I did research on him. Never thought they were going to hire him. But you go back, look at my video on Judge. I said I could completely understand why teams would be interested in this guy. When you factor in his intelligence, he was a teacher, learned from Belichick, learned from Saban, great background. I liked what I read about the guy. I just didn't think he was ready to be a head coach for the New York Giants because of his lack of experience in terms of not having a major coordinator role. But I liked the guy. I did like the guy. I thought he'd be a head coach at some point. I didn't think the Giants would hire him. I'm glad that they did. And we got time with the $5 donation. If you had to guess what undrafted wide receiver do you think has the biggest impact? I would go with... I think Dillon could have an impact in the special teams because of his speed. I don't think he's gonna have. He's gonna have much of an impact as a wide receiver. If I had to pick one, I don't know why the names escape me right now. Benjamin Victor. I think he would have the biggest impact if I had to pick one. Seems to be a good. Comes from a big program, so he's more established in terms of playing against good competition as opposed to the 6'7" receiver from Canada. And he's caught a lot of touchdowns. Seems to be a playmaker. If I had to pick one, I would say he would have the biggest role out of any of the four in terms of being a wide receiver on the football team. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But I think one, if not two, could make the team. That's for sure. And we got time with the $2 donation. Undrafted receiver. You didn't have to do that, man. You didn't have to do that, man. But thank you for love, man. I really appreciate that. I was vouching for Benjamin Victor. And Rodriguez with the $2 donation. I was vouching for Benjamin Victor. Sleeper. Yeah, I would say of the four, Ant Rodriguez, I would say he has the highest probability of being having a role in terms of being a wide receiver on this team this year. But that's just me guessing based on some of the things I read, based on the fact that I think we need a tall wide receiver to fit this offense. I would go with him. He's 6'4". He has a nose for the end zone. I think he had 34 catches last year, 5 or 6 touchdowns. The year before, only 23 catches. He had 4 touchdowns. So he gets in the end zone, even when he doesn't make a lot of catches. So I would pick him, at least in a limited role. And let's see what we got here. DJ Smooth with the $2 donation. Should we cut Tate and trade Shep and go with an undrafted free agent? I don't see that happening. First off, Tate's way too much of a dead cap, and it's not going to happen. Plus, he's a good guy in the locker room. He's a steady target. He's a good slot receiver. He's a good check down guy for Jones. He's got some chemistry. Shepard is way too talented. You're not going to get anything for Shepard if you trade him because of his concussions, because of his contract. I think they both have a role in this team this year. Now, maybe one of the undrafted free agents gets a role on the outside and in red zone opportunities, things of that nature. But I think both those receivers definitely have a role in this team. Tate could definitely be cut after this year. That wouldn't shock me because I think he's only a $5 million dead cap hit after this year. But I think both Tate and Shepard are on this team next year. Thanks for the love, man. I appreciate it. Oh, man, thank you so much, man. Ignacio Gallardo Navarrete with the has become a member. Stand up, new member. Welcome to the channel, man. I appreciate that. My man, Big Blue for Life to the chat. Chris, do you think Lorenzo Carter will take the next step this season? I was a big fan of Lorenzo Carter last year. I wasn't as high as I think as most Giant fans. I said Carter was going to lead the team. Most Giant fans said Carter. But I thought Carter would be better than his previous season. Carter, to me, underwhelming in terms of getting after the quarterback. Showed that he was decent in coverage. I love Carter's versatility. He, to me, Big Blue, is the most interesting piece on this defense this year and how he's going to be utilized. Because he is incredibly versatile. He's got huge upside. Can the coaching staff get it out of him? But I like Lorenzo Carter a lot. Nikki Sav with the $2 donation. He says, drop my email in your last video. Do a 2021 Ooh. I will do that after the next 2 or 3 weeks, Nikki, and I'm going to have you on the channel once I have some time because I got to spend a lot of time recapping the draft, things like that. But that's a great idea. I will do that. Not 7 rounds, but I will do a first round mock or at least talk about players that I could see the New York Giants targeting in next year's draft. I will do that maybe in a month or so, 3 weeks in a month or so. A little bit. I'll do a little content like that. But thank you for the love, man. I appreciate that. Malik with the $5 donation. What's up, Chris? Probability Pulley really starts at center. Dwayne, great question. I think I'll go 40%. But we're going to have to wait and see. Gates is going to get a crack there. Lemieux's going to get a crack. I don't think anyone's an overwhelming favorite. Pulley's probably a slight favorite right now just because he's played there. We'll have to wait and see, though. Halep Elding's coming back from an injury. He's not on the roster right now. I guess they could elect to bring him back. We know that Gettleman liked him. I hope it's not him. So we'll see. I would say Pulley's a slight favorite. Malik with the $5 donation. He says, so Chris, I love RU new pass rusher from the draft, especially in the 7th round. Very underrated. But who is that guy on the team going to produce 12 sacks? To be honest with you, Malik, I don't think there's a guy on this team that's going to get 12 sacks. I don't. I think, but if you look at the Patriots historically, they don't usually have a guy that gets 12, 13, 14, 15 sacks. Yeah, they'll have it here and there. I think they're going to generate sacks from the secondary, from the interior defensive line. It's going to be more of a team a way of doing things. With all the different looks they're going to show, there's going to be a lot of blitzes from different players coming from different spots on the field. I don't think you're going to have a dominant pass rusher on this defense. I just don't. But that doesn't mean they can't be somewhat effective. But they don't have that player on this team. But thanks for love, man. I appreciate it. Great job for the draft, Chris. Giants fan for life. I appreciate that. We got 2 X-Men on the team now, so I don't know which one you're referring to. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Zimenez could do on this team. And what's going on? Big Daddy's one of my best. Glad he's here. He says, it's not like he gets the most. It's overall number. Yeah, oh, you're talking about the sacks? Yeah, it's a team. It's not about individuals, and Joe Judge basically said that. It's about generating sacks as a team, not having superstars on this team. Let's see what we got. Sad because he's a good. After Thomas went 4, there wasn't a run on tackles in the top 10 as there was suggested. Do you think that's because most teams had Thomas as the clear-cut offensive tackle 1? I do, Sutherland. Reports came out after that the Dolphins were very much in on him. So I do. I said that, I think, in my Thomas video, actually. I do think that. The Cardinals, who definitely needed an offensive tackle, they ended up getting Jones later, which was a shock to me how far he fell. But the Cardinals, who definitely needed an offensive tackle, didn't elect to take one at 8. And I personally think if Thomas is there, they probably take him. But I do think Thomas, in the end, was rated as the best tackle by most teams. It was just a secret. Kind of like Daniel Jones last year. That's just my opinion. DJ Smooth with a $2 donation. I appreciate it. He says, do you think we beat the Skins, Eagles, and Cowgirls? I think we beat the Skins. We beat the Skins every year. We might sweep them. We always find a way to beat that team. In terms of the Cowgirls, as you like to call them, and the Eagles, I can't say that until we beat them. I got to see it. We've struggled against both those teams for the last decade. Do I think we could beat those teams? Yeah, it's football. Any given Sunday, we're going to be better coached. We're going to be better prepared. We're going to be more experienced. So, yes, we could beat them, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a challenge, no doubt about it. And Chris Leon with the $2 donation. Chris, we're going 8-8. I believe we could. I definitely believe that we could go 8-8. I do. We got to be a ball control offense, like I said. We got to establish an identity. I definitely think that's somewhat realistic. It is a very tough schedule, though. Killian Farrell with the €2. Thank you so much. Hey, Chris, how do you suggest we address the edge now? I mean, right now we have what we have. It's free agency's kind of over. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have what we have. We're gonna have to generate a pass rush with the guys we have on the roster. Marcus Golden may be back. But you got to hope guys like Fackrell produce, O'Shane Zimenez produce, Lorenzo Carter takes a step forward. That's what we got to hope as Giants fans this year, and hopefully they could scheme a defense to be able to get pressure on the quarterback. I think next year you're going to see them add an elite edge rusher, whether it's in free agency or whether it's early in next year's draft. I think that's the plan. I could be wrong. I think they would have loved to add an edge rusher in this draft, but the problem was, one, they needed a tackle, but two, there was no elite edge rushers in this draft after Chase Young. So that's why we weren't able to address it in this year's draft. Next year, hopefully they could find one, or in free agency where they have a little more money. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. And, oh, man, Greg, man, great subscriber, man. I really appreciate that. $10 donation, depth, flexibility, progress. Let's go, Big Blue. Wonder if Lemieux was the reason we talked with Herbert. Great point. I forgot who said that in my live stream. I brought that up on, by the way, if you guys haven't checked that out, and I think a lot of you guys did because they got a lot of views. I'm happy for them. They're putting a lot of work on that channel. I'm going to have them on this channel next week. Fireside Giants. I've always loved Mike. Mike Dunite's always been one of my favorite Giant creators. Guy puts in a lot of work. We don't always agree on everything. He's not a get-him guy. I'm a get-him guy. But I've always wanted to work with him. Love talking to him. And Anthony and Alex are great over there, too. I'm going to have them on the channel. We're going to talk about that. But I brought that up in the podcast because one of my subscribers said, I don't remember who did, but it was a great point. All these rumors came out that the New York Giants were talking to Oregon. And they were talking to Justin Herbert, who played at Oregon, and everybody was just assuming, oh, maybe they want a quarterback. Who knows? They weren't talking to Justin Herbert to get intel on players on Oregon, like Lemieux. So that might have had something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great point you bring up. CD Mixie with a $10 donation. I really appreciate that. I predicted that the Giants would get Austin Mack. A lot of people did. So I believe you on that. In your last live stream, unintentionally. But now that I think about it, Ryan Johnson is a better fit at wide receiver for the Giants with the height advantage. 100%. I think the tall wide receiver is what we need right now. But if the guy's a good receiver, he's a good receiver. But I think we do need a guy with height. Especially when you're throwing a lot of vertical passing routes. They got to be able to get downfield. I'm really excited about that kid. He's probably a project, but I'm excited about his potential, and I think it was a good signing by the Giants. And Rodriguez with the $2 donation. He says, you can only re-sign one, Tomlinson or Peppers. Peppers. Yeah, I would re-sign Peppers, and I like Tomlinson a lot. But we have players on this team that can replace Tomlinson. We're strong in that area. I would re-sign Peppers, and it's only a one-year deal. It's on a rookie contract. I don't know about a long-term extension. I got to wait to see how that plays out, but I would definitely re-sign Peppers on the 5th year of his rookie option. But thanks for that, man. I appreciate it. Rick with a $2 donation. Hey, man, do a video. I am. I'm going to do that tomorrow. Like I said earlier in the stream, I don't know if you just popped in, Rick. I'm trying to space it out a little bit. I don't want to do, even though I did 4 videos today, I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 videos a day, but I don't want to do everything at once because I want to have content for the next month and a half. So I'm trying to space it out, but I'm definitely going to do a feature on him tomorrow. I've had a number of subscribers ask me to do a video on him, so I'm looking forward to diving into him, doing a video on him, getting some information, and yeah, for sure, I think we've all been talking about running back depth for the New York Giants, and he's an interesting piece, no doubt about it. I'm looking forward into looking into him. What do we got here? Pay attention to your team and get off the hate boat. Mike, I don't know what you're talking about there. What's going on, Isaiah? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Where do you think Julian Love fits since we drafted Darnay Holmes? It's a good question, Isaiah. I still think he's going to get playing time, whether it's at the free safety, whether it's at the slot corner, because I think you're going to be able to move players around. Like I said in my video, I think McKinney, you can move up at the line of scrimmage for blitzes at times. Same with Peppers. Is he going to be on the field every play? Probably not. We're going to have to wait and see how Holmes does in training camp, how they view him, whether he's a project, whether he's going to start day one. But I definitely think Love's still going to get playing time. I definitely think he's still going to have a role with the New York Giants because I think they're going to show you so many different looks. You know what I'm saying? So there's going to be packages where you have more DBs. There's going to be packages where you have more, blitzers, more linebackers. So we'll have to wait and see how they do it. But I do think Love will be on the field for sure. He's very versatile. You could play him at both the free safety and the slot corner. I know. I was a big fan of Tyler Biadasz. And I knew as soon as the Cowboys traded up, I knew they were jumping us for him. I didn't know if it was going to be him or Harris, but I knew they were jumping us for a center. Malik, man, thank you so much, man. David Caniza with the cannolis, man. I appreciate that, man. And Malik with the $10 donation says, if everyone is healthy at wide receiver, we basically have the best receiver. Golden is still the best. Miss tackle player. Shepard is flashy. Slayton speed. Evan mismatched the defense. And the new wide receiver the best. Malik, I love you, man. I love you, Malik. You know that. Here's what I'll say about our wide receiver core. It's definitely not the best. But I will say I think we have at least an average receiving core when healthy. But the key word to that is when healthy. When you factor in all the guys you could possibly throw to in terms of Barkley out of the backfield, Ingram, the tight end, our weapons at the wide receiver position, I do think it's an adequate average group. Is it elite? No. I think we still need, for us to be an elite wide receiving core, or, in terms of weapons, I think we need one more top-tier option, and I think they'll address that next year or the year after in the draft. But it's definitely a good group. I think it's better than people give it credit for. The problem is they're always hurt, and that has to be factored in. They're always banged up. DJ Smooth with the $2 donation. Chris, we coming for the East. Your preach to God's ears. DJ, I love the confidence, my man. I love the confidence, and I'm going to tell you what. I'm not giving up on the season before it starts. I just try to be... I don't want fans to put too much pressure on Judge year one. I don't want fans to get upset if we finish with 6 or 7 wins because it's still an inexperienced team. But if this team can establish an identity, they're going to stay in games, and maybe they can win games at the end. We'll have to wait and see. But with a stronger offensive line and Saquon Barkley, it gives us a chance to rest that defense. We'll have to wait and see if they're able to dominate up front. What's going on? Oh, Cop Pizzle says, hashtag free Cop Pizzle. Cop, you want to talk football? I'm always open to talking football. Jonathan with the Keep It Up super sticker. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And Josh Latore with the $2 donation. Stand up, Josh Latore. I appreciate that. Jason, and I know, Cop is like, glanced at his video, I know he was a fan of the draft, and I think every Giants YouTuber was, and I know he was a Hog Molly guy, and, I think we were all happy at the end of the day. Even the people that were, Simmons people were happy, because I think they understood the tackle position. I think we're all happy with what happened. Jason Young with the $5 donation, he says, I'm worried about Mara interfering in our future. Gettleman, to me, had a long-term plan. That was delayed in 2018. Mara let him do his job. I'm with you, man. And we all know this, Jason. We know this. We know Gettleman's on the hot seat. This is New York, Jason. Okay? I recognize Gettleman's on the hot seat. I just tell you guys that I don't think it's the best course of action to move on from him. Because I think he's done a relatively decent job considering the situation he inherited and the way he's drafted. But we all know if this team wins 4 or 5 games, he's probably getting fired. But the owner doesn't need to come out and insinuate it. It puts pressure on Gettleman. It puts pressure on Judge. The media is going to eat that up. They're going to say he's on the fire. Before the season even starts, people are going to talk about it. They have 1 or 2 bad games. They're going to start talking about it. So I don't like that the owner does things like that. Stay quiet. Stay out of the media. Don't say things like that. I don't like it. DJ Smooth with the $2 donation. He says, worry about Chase Young. Skins fans going crazy. Chase Young's going to be tough. Another reason why it made sense to draft Andrew Thomas. Another reason why it made sense to go left tackle. You got to be able to block that guy for the next decade. It only made sense, and that's another reason for it. Maximo, man, I appreciate the love, man. $5 donation. He says, all everyone here in Dallas is talking about is CD. What do you think about it and the rest of the NFC East draft? I'll tell you what, Maximo. I never thought in a million years. Let me take a sip of tea. Because I'm trying to preserve my voice. I had no voice, so let me take a sip of tea. I can't get on the Cowboys for taking CeeDee Lamb. I never thought in a million years he was going to be there. Do I think they had more important needs? 100%. They had a pretty strong wide receiver core as is, but CeeDee Lamb is obviously another weapon that the New York Giants are going to have to contend with. It was a great value pick. CeeDee Lamb to me was a top 10 talent, maybe top 12, probably a top 10 talent that they got at number 17. You can't really argue that pick. It was a really good pick. The Giants, they're going to have to pick up their game. DeAndre Baker's going to get tested this year when we go up against CeeDee Lamb and the Dallas Cowboys. But as far as the rest of the NFC East, I thought the Eagles had a horrible first 2 days. I think they had a great third day. So I would say overall the Eagles had a decent draft. They had a really strong third day. The Cowboys had a really good draft throughout. The Redskins had a good draft. They got the best player in the draft. So I think the NFC East as a whole had a pretty sound draft. Go with the $2 donation. He says, Thomas over Becton, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't hate Becton. I don't hate Becton. Becton could be a really good prospect. He's definitely got the attributes that you want. He's big. He's mobile. Andrew Thomas is a much more polished prospect. Give me Andrew Thomas every time. Now, could Becton evolve into something amazing? Sure. And did the Jets make a bad decision picking him at 11? No. Becton and Wirfs there, they're both projects, So the Jets went with the guy that they felt was the better one. And, oh, man, thank you so much, man. Tony B. Thank you so much, Tony, man. I appreciate that, man. Stand up, new member. Welcome to the chat. Tony's in my Discord. He always shows me love on Twitter, man. I'm glad to see you join the channel, man. I appreciate that. By the way, anybody that is a new member, I just always want to let you guys know whoever someone joins, I'm gonna put it in the community notes. I don't know if you guys look at the community notes. Once a month, I do a giveaway to a member only. I do a members only stream, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. And I'll mention it on Twitter as well to you. I know I talk to you on Twitter, but make sure you're on the lookout for that. I do like a fitted hat giveaway once a month. So, and as it gets bigger, do jerseys, things like that. And there's the cannolis. And Tony B is the newest member. That's right. What are your expectations for Evan Ingram this season if he manages to stay healthy for all 16 games and is used properly? That's a great question. That's a great question, Merp, right? Yeah. Fantastic question. Evan Ingram, to me, if he stays healthy, and that's the biggest part of that question because the guy never does. But if Evan Ingram stays healthy, I think Evan Ingram could have a monster year for the New York Giants. This offense fits his skill set perfectly. And as a guy that doesn't know, I want Evan Ingram to have a monster year either way, whether or not he's going to be a part of the future. Because if he does and we don't do well, you could trade him. But I think he fits this offense perfectly. And if he could remain on the field, I expect him to have close to 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns. It utilizes the tight end a lot up the seam because the vertical routes stretch the defense. It opens up the middle for Evan Ingram. And especially if you could establish that running game with Saquon Barkley, a mismatch like Evan Ingram he might pose the biggest mismatch threat at the tight end position when healthy in the league in terms of being, an athletic talent. So I think Evan Ingram could eat this year if he stays healthy. I think he could be one of the best tight ends in football. The problem is he's never done that, so we'll have to wait and see. DJ Smooth with the $2 donation. Prediction on the Bills record. Draft worry about Josh Allen. I love the Bills this year. I do. I love the Bills last year. I love them this year. I think the Bills are going to be at worst a 10-win team. I think they're a team that could at least get to the divisional round. I love the Bills' defense. I love what they're building there in that offense. The Bills are a very dangerous team this year. They overpaid for Diggs, but they needed a weapon. So I think the Bills are really good this year. I would guess 11 wins. I think the Bills are going to be a really good team this year. But thanks for letting me in. I appreciate that. Malik with the $10 donation. Chris, this secondary is going to be good. Like they're going to have like 3 safeties on the field. I know because I play Madden and I use a 3-4 defense and I put my safety in the box. Really good. Yeah. Listen, the versatility, and Malik, man, thank you so much for all your love, man. The versatility that the New York Giants are going to be able to present with all these pieces now in this secondary, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. Like you said, they're going to have times where they have 3 safeties on the field. They're going to have times where they have probably 3-4 cornerbacks on the field. They're going to have so many different looks where they can use guys as blitzers from the outside, up the middle, through the gap. So it's going to be a very interesting defense, and they definitely brought pieces in via free agency and via the draft that are going to fit the defensive philosophy of Patrick Graham. So that's what they did in terms of the draft. They found players to fit those needs. Love is going to play slot. I think Love is definitely going to play some slot for sure. Love's going to move around. Pumpkin, one of my best. I should have shouted him out a while ago. He's been with my channel forever. Let's see what we got here. Would you be fine with Ingram missing 2 games? I mean, I kind of expected at this point. The guy misses at least 2 games every year, so I kind of expected at this point. Hopefully not. Hopefully he plays all 16, but you kind of got to expect that. The guy's made of glass. What's going on, Andrew Christopher? Another one of my best, man. He always says hi. Hi, Andrew. What are your thoughts on Askew Henry, the nickelback from the XFL? What do you think his role in this defense will be? James, I was actually pretty excited when I dove into him in terms of a guy that maybe could help on special teams, as a guy that could be a depth piece. I don't know if he's going to crack this roster. Maybe he could be a special teams contributor. I'm pretty sure I remember reading that the Giants liked him in that aspect on special teams, and maybe he'll make it because of that. But this secondary is really deep. He played for the New York team in the XFL. I can't remember. I think he played for I can't remember the NFL. I think the Steelers. I can't remember. But played in the XFL. Played really well. A lot of people said he was one of the best players in the league. And the Giants liked what they saw. They gave him a shot. And we'll see. There's so many interesting stories. There always is. But there's so many interesting storylines with some of these guys that are going to try to make the roster. And he's certainly one of them. And Vito with the $2 donation. Mainly just want a good defense again. Listen, man. You and me both. I've been dying to have a good defense. I've been dying to have a sound offensive line. That's Giants football. I say it all the time, man. I don't want a flashy offense. I know all these younger generation, they see the Pat Mahomes of the world. They play Madden. They want the Giants throwing for 5,000 yards. I don't want that. That's not Giants football. I want to be able to run the ball behind a sound offensive line and set up our defense to win games. That's what I want. That's what I've always wanted. I want to get back to that team from 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it was. Be able to run the ball down teams' throats, win the time of possession, and set your defense up for success. I think they accomplished some of that in this draft. They're not there yet, but we're getting there. And CD with the $5 donation. If Hurts puts you on the spot, but worst pick of the draft, Jordan Love or Jalen Hurts? Man, you know what? You could certainly listen. I like Jordan Love. I like Jordan Love a lot. I think he could be a really good prospect, but you could certainly argue Jordan Love because the Packers, Aaron Rodgers is still a good quarterback. Aaron Rodgers brought his team to the NFC Championship game last year. And yes, I think where Jordan Love, they took him was fine. I think he was a first-round talent, a late first-round talent, but they traded up to do it. And they have Aaron Rodgers. They didn't get him any weapons. They didn't draft a wide receiver. I saw this stat on Twitter today. I couldn't believe it. This is how little help they've given Aaron Rodgers throughout his career. Do you know how many touchdowns in Aaron Rodgers' entire career he has thrown to a first-round wide receiver? Ever? 0. His only touchdown to a first-round player in his entire career is Mercedes Lewis. He's thrown 1 touchdown to a first-round pick ever. Some of the other guys on the list, Drew Brees had like 110. Tom Brady, they all had in the hundreds. they've never helped him out, and they did it again. You know, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I want off that team. You could argue both. You could argue both to me. You could argue both. Zeke with the $5 donation. We are gonna be more important. We are gonna be more coach scheme dependent over pure talent with no physical contact to teach the schemes in 2020. Is 2020 a throwaway year in terms of wins? I'm not gonna say it's a throwaway year, but I'm gonna say this, Zeke. I'm not gonna put any expectation on the win total because of some of the factors you said, because of the new coaching staff, because of what's going on in the world. Everything's new. You know, on both sides of the ball, it's completely new schemes. It's a young team. I'm not going to go into the year and say if we don't win 7 games, it's a lost season. I'm not going to go into the year that way. I'm looking at it like this. Does the team progress over the course of the year? Does Daniel Jones take a step forward? Does the offensive line look strong? That's what I'm looking for. If we win games, great. Where I think we're really going to compete, 2021. But I do think they're adopting the Patriot way. I do think that they're going to try to, like you said, they're not going to have unbelievable players. It's what Joe Judge said. Joe Judge's quote was, "I'm looking to build a team. I'm not looking to build individuals." And we got time with the $5 nation. Do you think we could have a top 20 or 15 O-line? Yes, I do. I do. I definitely do. I'm not saying we're gonna, but last year we ranked 18th or 19th, but I don't believe that because we surrendered the most pressures at the tackle position. Both the left tackle and right tackle combined, we surrendered 97 pressures, I think it was. So we sucked. But I do think we're going to be a better offensive line. I think we're going to be better coached. You know, I love the coaches we brought in from the Dallas Cowboys for the offensive line specifically. Mark Colombo's a strong offensive line coach, so I think we're going to be better coached. I think we're going to be better prepared, and I think we got more talent on the offensive line. So I'm hoping we're at least league average. That's what I'm hoping. But thanks for the love, man. I appreciate it. Jason Young with the $2 donation. If I'm the Niners, send picks plus Jimmy Garoppolo for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, listen, I love Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, and I think he obviously would give them a better chance to win right now. I'm not a big Jimmy Garoppolo guy. I don't see the Niners doing that. Jimmy Garoppolo is still young. Rodgers might have 1 or 2 years left in the tank. I don't think they'll do that, but in my opinion, if Rodgers went there, they probably win a Super Bowl. But I don't think they would do it. But I definitely understand your thinking. Malik with the $5 donation. I appreciate that, man. He says, are defensive linemen going to have a lot of sacks because we have a new defensive scheme and line coach, baby stacks, chubby cookie monster, scary Leonard? I don't know. You know, I'm interested to see. Here's what I'll say. Out of the defensive linemen, Malik, the one guy that I could see having a pretty high sack total would be Leonard Williams. Dexter Lawrence, to me, I don't need sacks from him. What I like, 4 or 5 sacks, sure. I think Leonard Williams could have 7 or 8 sacks. I'm not saying he's going to. I wouldn't be shocked if he does, depending on how they use him in the scheme. We'll have to wait and see. I know last year he only had like a half a sack or a sack. But I'm excited to see how they use Leonard Williams in this defense as well. I think he's very versatile in terms of being on the inside and both the outside. But I love Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence is one of my favorite players on this team. I really want to see him bat more balls up the line of scrimmage, something he was known for at Clemson. Did a pretty good job there, but I want to see more of it. Could create some turnovers. Vito with the $2 donation. Progression, not regression, hopefully. Exactly. And I think we're going to have progression. I do. I really believe that. I really think we're going to have progression. But thanks for the love, man. I appreciate it. What's going on, Christian Payne? Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it, man. And Techie says I have a full sack. Well, that's more than Lance Armstrong. So you got that going for you. And Carson Wheelchair. I love that name. Carson Wheelchair Wentz with the 5,000 watts. Says, whatever that, I don't even know what currency that is. I think the Giants did a really great draft this year. We might beat the Eagles, pretty sure. Go Giants. I just want to beat the Eagles once. Wheelchair Wentz. I just want to beat the Eagles once. I mean, I want to sweep them, but just give me one. I forgot what it feels like to beat that football team. That's my goal this year. Beat the Eagles one time. What's going on, Austin? Thanks for popping in the stream. Scotty, you never have to apologize, man. Thanks for being here. Thank you to everybody for being here. I always say it, best subscribers on YouTube. Thank you guys for all your support. Thank you guys for continuing to watch all my content in the offseason, being the best fans on YouTube, Giants fans, Eagles fans, whoever you are. Obviously, I love my Giants subscribers. Love my Giants fans. My man Guillermo, he's not a Giant fan. He's a Jet fan. But that's okay. We both like the Knicks. We both like the Mets. We share misery there. Popping in, he says, I want to see the NFCs with that stacked Cowboys team. Cowboys had a really good draft, Guillermo. Cowboys had a really, really good draft. I'm still interested to see how their future plays out with Dak and when they pay him a long-term contract. But right now, Cowboys drafted really well in my opinion. We'll see how it all plays out. Rick with the $2 donation. I appreciate that, man. He says, name me 5 sleeper players on the defense this year. Okay, in terms of players that I think could be better, I guess better than what people anticipate. I'll go Lorenzo Carter. I could see Lorenzo Carter having a big year. I'm not saying he will. I could see it because I do think he fits this scheme really well. I think they're going to move him around a lot. I'm very interested to see how they use him in the defense. I'm going to say Carter. I don't really view Peppers as a sleeper. I think a lot of people think Peppers is going to do well. I'll go. How about? I mean, Dexter Lawrence ain't a sleeper. Is Leonard Williams a sleeper? Because I think Leonard Williams is going to have a good year. I think Leonard Williams is going to have a good year if you consider him a sleeper. I think DeAndre Baker is going to have a good year. I think he's going to have a better year than a lot of people may think. McKinney's a rookie, so I don't know what people's expectations are for him. I think he could have a good year. I think a lot of players on this team could be a lot better than people think. Now, some of them are going to miss, but I do like a lot of the players. And O'Shane Ximines. O'Shane Ximines right now is my pick to lead the team in sacks. I think O'Shane Ximines is going to have a big year for the Giants. I'll say 9 sacks for the X-Men. But yeah, there's a couple of names, a couple of youngsters that I think fit the scheme well and I think could progress this season for sure. Ian with a $2 donation. He says, how many wins do you want this season? I want 16, Ian. I want 16. I want 19. But realistically, if we get 7 or 8 wins, I'll be very happy. To me, that's showing progression. It's showing that this team's getting better. It's showing that we're headed in the right direction. If we can ever have an 8-8 year, I'll be thrilled. Because then I'm going to be pumped up going to the next season when you could add more weapons. The players are getting that much more experienced. Obviously, I want to make the playoffs. But realistically speaking, if you can win 7 or 8 games, I'll be very happy with this season. Jose with the $2 donation. Finishing 3-3 in the division is a win. I think we could. I definitely think we could finish 3-3 in the division. I definitely think we could finish 3-3 in the division. Let's see what we got here. Spencer Pulley, to me, is a slight favorite right now to be the starting center because we didn't draft one. We drafted Lemieux, who might be able to compete there. But I would say right now, at least to start the year, Pulley's probably the favorite to start. But it's not an overwhelming favorite. I think Gates is going to compete. I think Lemieux is going to compete. But if I had to pick one right now, I'd say Pulley's a slight favorite at that position. Blinky with the $2 donation. I appreciate that. Yeah, I got to do more research on him, Blinky. I'm going to have a video up on that tomorrow. That's going to be the first one I have a video on because I've had so many subscribers in my comments throughout the stream ask me to do a video on him. It'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting to see how he does with the New York Giants if he makes the team. I'm definitely going to have a video on him. I'm going to have a video on probably Parrott as well. I want to kind of break down each individual draft pick, do it, in order, day by day. Today I did McKinney. Tomorrow I'll do Parrott. I'll probably do a video on him. I'm sure I'm going to have a few more videos up tomorrow as well. Going to take a day off, and then probably going to go live with Bad Dog the following day or the day after that. So we'll figure it out. But, yeah, I'll definitely have a bunch of videos up tomorrow, and one of them is definitely going to be that prospect. So looking forward to looking into him and seeing, if he can crack the New York Giants roster. I think it's an interesting pickup. I think people are excited about him. What is going on there, Kirk Cousins? What do you think of Ximines this year? I think Ximines is going to lead the team in sacks. I'm a huge Ximines guy. I think Ximines is going to lead the team in sacks. 8.5, 9 sacks. And I'll say this. I called it last year, so let's see if I'm 2 for 2. I said Marcus Golden last year. This year I'm going to Ximines. Fackrell's a sleeper. There's another sleeper. Fackrell. Should have said him. Fackrell's another sleeper. Definitely could have a good year this year. So there's a lot of guys that could outperform what people think. Ian, thank you so much, man, for the $2 donation. He says, new playoff format, we could sneak into the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, 8 wins could definitely get you in. Definitely could get you in, depending on tiebreakers, things of that nature. I don't know if it will, but it definitely could. I think 9 wins will definitely get you in now that 7 teams get in. 8 wins, you got an outside chance. 9 wins, you might win our division. I don't think so. I think the Cowboys will win at least 10. But we'll see, man. That's the other thing that's great about this new playoff alignment is if you're around that 7 or 8 wins going into the last week, you're still in contention. So it gives a lot of teams something to root for going into the last week of the season. I appreciate that, Afghanistan, man. Thanks for the love, man. You're the man. Always show me love, always being a great mod. One of my best subscribers from the start. The Giants got some good Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I'm gonna do more videos on them this week. Probably do some individual videos today. I kind of just paired all the wide receivers together, but I'll probably do some individual videos, profile videos on drafted players and undrafted players, and then just talk about the class as a whole, how I think they'll, fit the team in terms of the schemes and everything else. Then just do a complete roster breakdown. Maybe even do a video predicting, as of now, way too early roster predictions, who will make the 53-man roster, kind of break down the roster like that. I got a lot of video ideas on my cranium. So I'm looking forward to it. Going to break a lot of it down, talk about the future, talk about the present. Tana, do you think Bradbury will be a Pro Bowler next season? Hard to say. I would say this. If there was a guy on our defense that probably has the best chance to make the Pro Bowl, it's probably him going in. I would say. But it's hard to say. Definitely could. I think he's one of the top 15 corners in the league, so definitely could. No reason to think that he couldn't. We'll see how he's used in the scheme, but yeah, I like Bradbury. What are you expecting from Darius Slayton this year? I think Darius Slayton is going to have a really good year. I was kind of holding back until I saw what they did in the draft. They didn't address the wide receiver position in terms of drafted player. Darius Slayton to me fits this scheme very well. Darius Slayton to me is a very talented wide receiver. I think that's his game. His game is the vertical threat. So I think Slayton is going to have a big year for the Giants. I'm going to say 1,000 yards. 1,000 yards, 8 or 9 touchdowns. I think he's going to be the best receiver on the New York Giants this year. I like Darius Slayton a lot. I think he fits the scheme. And I think he's a bright part of the future for this New York Giant football team. What's going on, Sam Bell? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Which AFC division do we play this year? We play the North. We play the Steelers, Browns, Bengals, and the Ravens. And out of those, I would say, obviously the only gimmies, the Bengals. After that, they're all tough. The Browns are definitely improved. The Steelers got Ben back, and the Ravens might be the best team in football. So, not an easy division to play. No doubt about it. And the NFC West is nothing to sneeze at either. I watched the Patriots and Buffalo defense similar. They love the blitz. Yeah, they're somewhat similar, Malik. The Bills added a good pass rusher. Sean, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I was going to make a video on that. I still might. I've had a lot of people ask me to make a video on Jason Britt, the center that was cut from the Seahawks. Sean says, do you think we should pick up Justin Britt, rather? The reason I didn't make a video on it, from what I saw, Justin Britt had an ACL injury. And it might leak into the season. And if that's the case, I don't think the Giants will sign him. I got to do a little more research, find out whether or not they think he'll be ready to start the season or even training camp. If they feel that way, I mean, we need some depth at the center position. I wouldn't be against it. Former second-round pick. Been in the league now for about 5 or 6 years. Has started with the Seahawks for really his entire career. Would bring experience. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but the injury is what scares me away. Danny with the $5 donation. What's going on, Joe DeGrazia? He's Irish. Joe DeGrazia is definitely Irish. Danny Moika says, thoughts on Percy Harvin, potential good, cheap fit. I don't know, man. Percy Harvin hasn't played for 4 years. I think he's 32. Maybe as a special teams guy, because I know he was good on punt returns, kick returns. Do I think he's going to have a big impact in terms of being a wide receiver? No. I don't see it. He was always injury prone throughout his career as well. I mean, maybe take a flyer on him, give him an invite to camp, but I think a lot of teams are going to be willing to do that. I don't think he's going to have a big impact. He's been out of the league for 4 years. That's a long time. But maybe on special teams. He was always pretty good in special teams. New York for life with the $5, my man. What's going on? Using my future kids' college fund to support a better cause. This channel. No, you're using your hummus funds. New York for life. I love New York for life. One of my best subscribers, man. Thanks for being here. Richie Rich with the $5 donation. And Andrew Marchese says, gentlemen, I've spoken out. Yeah, I don't think they're going to bring in injured players. I really don't. Richie Rich with the $5. Ligman just deleted your message. Oh, I hate when my subscribers do that. Richie Rich, I know it was an accident. Richie Rich, do me a favor and type the message again. So do not super chat. Type the message again so I could read it. And I will wait till you type it. I don't like anybody to waste their money. Type the message again, and I will read it. I'm going to look out for your message, Richie Rich. Barboski with the $2 donation. Barboski's the friggin' man. Great work, Chris. Channel is killer. Go G-Men. I appreciate that, my man. Thank you so much for the love, man. And Barboski, another guy that's been with my channel forever. Always shows my channel a lot of love and respect. No, like man, it happens. It happens. It happens. It happens. I just don't like when people waste their money. Sonor did that one time. I know you didn't do it on purpose. I've done that. I haven't done it with a super chat, but I've done it with messages before by accident. Oh, there we go. Okay. If 8 wins was the over-under, where's your money? Okay, so there was the super chat. So if 8 wins was the over-under, where's my money? If I'm being completely honest, under. Do I think they could exceed that or meet it? Yes, but under. There's a reason that Vegas has us at 5.5 as the over-under. Maybe that'll change after the draft. I think 7 wins is a fair estimate. I think 7 wins is a fair estimate. I think they had a strong draft. I think they could definitely hit 8. And it's football. If you get the lucky bounces, if you could close out games, maybe they could win 10. But the schedule that they're playing, I think it's going to be hard to win more than 8. Thanks for the love, man. I appreciate it. Best and worst Giants memory. I mean, the best has to be the 2008 Super Bowl. It has to be. It has to be. The worst, the Eagles game, the Miracle at the Meadowlands 2, and there's a lot of bad ones. That one's the worst. When we were, I don't remember how much we were up. We're by like 4 scores, and Vic just brought them back in the game, and then the punt return by Deshaun Jackson. That's the worst memory for me, and the best has got to be Super Bowl 2008. So, yeah. We could definitely beat those teams, Joel. We could definitely beat those teams. Do you think Darnay is a steal in the draft? Do I think Darnay is a steal in the draft? I think he could be. I definitely think he could be. He's got a lot of athletic ability. We'll have to see how they use him in the defense. Yeah, 2008 was the best Super Bowl ever. No doubt about it. We'll have to see how they use him in the defense, but I do think he could be a really good player. I'm encouraged by some of the things I've read and seen on tape. So, yes, I do like him. Jason Young with the $2 donation. Is Jones the anointed one like Fisk says? Listen, man. Fisk is either going to look like a genius or he's not. To me, I put more on the team. He's more of an individual guy. He looks at the quarterback. I look at the team. I think for Daniel Jones to be the anointed one, he needs a team. He needs an offensive line. He needs weapons. I don't think he's the type of quarterback. I'm not going to rank him like he does with Pat Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. He's not that. He's not a guy, in my opinion. He's not a guy that's going to put the team on his back with limited resources. And that's not a knock on Daniel Jones. That's 95% of the quarterbacks in the league. I think he needs an offensive line. I think he needs weapons. And I think if you give that to him, I think he'd be a very good quarterback. If you want to call him the anointed one, if he wins the Super Bowls, he's the anointed one. And L.A. Lou, what's going on, my man? $5 donation. He says, do you think the Giants have enough to contend for the division in the culture change if the culture changes dramatically? I think you have the talent. Listen, man, I love the coaching staff. I love what we're building. Anything could happen. It's football. You go back to 2017, we were the favorites to win the division. We were coming off a year where we won 11-5, had the best defense in football the second half of the season. We go into that year with 12-4, 13-3 hopes. We're thinking about the Super Bowl. We had all these pieces. We drafted Evan Ingram. We had Brandon Marshall. We're coming off a year where we had the best defense. Coming off a tough loss to the Green Bay Packers. You think we're going to bounce back with some fight? We win 3 games. We have a lot of injuries. The Eagles that year were projected to finish 3rd and 4th in the division. They win the Super Bowl. So you can't judge a team before the season starts. You have to see, especially with a new coach. You don't know. I'm just going in with conservative expectations, but anything could happen. I believe in Joe Judge. I believe in this football team. Let's play the games. Let's see how it plays out. Thanks for the love, man. I appreciate it. My man Malik with the $2 donation. Chris, you think Andrew Thomas make the Pro Bowl? It's going to be tough. It's rare that you see rookie offensive linemen make the Pro Bowl. I think he's going to. I just don't know if it'll happen year one. Quentin Nelson did, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to make it year one, but I think he will eventually. I do think he's going to be an upper echelon offensive tackle. I agree that Jones has a much stronger arm than people give him credit for. I agree with that. I think Jones is a good quarterback, a very good quarterback. I don't think he's Pat Mahomes. I don't think anybody's Pat Mahomes. That's not a knock on Daniel Jones. Let's see what we got here. How many wins do you think for Gettleman to be safe? To be absolutely safe, 8 wins. Like, for me to be confident that he's definitely not losing his job, 8 wins. I would say 8 wins. I think 6 or 7, it's a question. 5 or less, he's losing his job. Let's see what we got here. How do you feel about Jamar Chase? I like Jamar Chase a lot from the limited things that I've read and seen about him on tape. If we end up with Jamar Chase next year, if we can't get an edge rusher, I would still want the edge rusher first. But if there's not a prominent edge rusher there, I'd be completely fine with adding a wide receiver like him. I got my eyes on him for sure. Let's see what we got here. Any idea why we didn't... What's going on, Brandon? Thanks for popping in the stream. Any idea why we didn't draft a wide receiver? I was surprised a little bit. I thought in the 6th round, 7th round, they draft one. My guess is they wanted to add to the special teams. They viewed these guys, that they could bring in an undrafted free agents. I mean, you look at the undrafted free agents they brought in, like 40% were wide receivers, or 30%. So I think they clearly saw that there were wide receivers that they thought were going to go undrafted that they liked. They were probably like, I don't really like KJL much more than these guys. So instead of wasting a 6th round pick there, they went with the defense. They went with special teams. They brought in the guys via undrafted free agents. And I think they probably felt like they weren't in a position to draft a wide receiver in the first 3 or 4 rounds, which I didn't think they were. I thought they'd take one in the 5th, maybe the 6th. They elected not to do that. But I think that's the reasoning. Joel with the $2 donation. Parcells won 3 games his first year. Patience is right. Patience is always right. Patience is always right. That's always the right approach. Now, sometimes you can be too patient, but you got to be patient with Joe Judge. That's for damn sure. Rookie head coach. Got to let this team mold. Got to let them grow, man. I'm completely with you. Then I'll let you know in 2023 after Jones' best season. There you go, Greg. Cannolis is Italian pastry from Sicily. Now I know. Of course, Shona. You didn't know that? Yeah, you got to go get yourself a cannoli, man. Who do you think will get Rookie of the Year? Offensive or defensive? Defensive, to me, I'm going chalk. I'm going Chase Young. Offensive is interesting. It could be a lot of guys. Let's see. I mean, most people would say Burrow because he's the first pick, but I don't know how well he's going to do there with that supporting cast. Tua, if he's healthy, he's an interesting one because they brought in a lot of free agents there. I could still see him struggling a bit his rookie year. I'll go, I don't think Lamb because they have too many weapons there. Maybe Judy. Maybe Judy in Denver. I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Simmons defense. No, I think it's gonna be Chase Young. Can Matt Parrott play center? By the way, I'm very Italian. I know you are, Joe. I'm just messing with you. Matt Parrott is not playing center. Matt Parrott's a tackle. He's way too tall to play center. He's 6'7", huge arms. That's the thing that really stands out. Everything you read about the kid, he had the longest arms of any player at the combine. And that's important for a tackle. He's got huge arms. And I steal meat from Lions. Thank you so much for the $2 donation. This O-line and offense will be significant. I agree. And I want it to be. I want this offense to be a balanced offense. That's what I want. I want a near 50-50 disparity between run and pass. I think it'll make Daniel Jones' life a lot easier, and I think they're going to be able to do that. With a running back like Saquon Barkley, I'd like to see some of these guys they brought in via undrafted free agency. Deion Lewis get some carries, but I want to see them be able to run the ball effectively. I want them to run the ball. I want them to be one of the 6 or 7 most frequently run teams in football in terms of carries per game. That's what I want to see behind this offensive line. I think it'll make Jones' life a lot easier. But thanks for the love, man. L.A. Lou with the $5 donation. You're right. Anything can happen. Ask me. My Rams go from 4-12 to 11-5 with pretty much the same roster because of a coaching change. Optimism is good. You're right, man. Sean McVay did a hell of a job with that team. One thing I'll say about your team, you guys had a lot of talent on that roster. You really did. Yeah, I mean, Jared Goff was a rookie the year before, and then he took off the next year. Gurley had a down year the year before, was better in his rookie year. You had Aaron Donald, the best defensive player in football. You guys had a lot of talent. It kind of came together, but McVay had a lot to do with it. You're absolutely right, and maybe Judge will have a lot to do with the Giants. And my man Malik with the $10 donation. Chris, Jones is a good quarterback. Like, when was the last time you see a rookie quarterback with the best accuracy in their rookie year? Usually they throw horrible balls. For example, Peyton Manning throwing really... Listen, when you factor everything in for Daniel Jones in his rookie year, you couldn't have asked for much more. I mean, the offensive line was not good. It was mediocre at best, and I don't think it was that. They didn't have a ground attack, due in large part to the fact that Saquon Barkley was banged up for half the season. Their wide receivers were in and out of the lineup all year, whether it was due to suspensions, whether it was due to injuries, and he overcame all that. And he was hit or miss. He had some games where he looked really bad, but he had a lot of games where he looked great. And that's what you expect from a rookie. And factoring in his supporting cast, I thought Daniel Jones had as good of a rookie season as you could have hoped for outside of the fumbling issues. But an improved O-line alone should help that. For the simple reason he's not going to be thrown as much. He's going to be better protected, and they're going to run the ball a lot more. And obviously he's got to get better pocket awareness, and I think that'll come with experience. But thanks for the love, man. I appreciate it. L.A. Lou with the $2 donation. He says, yes, we have Donald and wait. No, Lou, come on. L.A. Lou, come on. We argue about this all the time, Lou. I'll give you a 2024 7th round pick right now. You give us Aaron Donald. I'll do it. Sign on the dotted line. Anthony with the $5 donation. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. He just says, here you go. Here's a Lincoln, man. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. There's another Irishman. Anthony Ponzio. Sounds like he eats corned beef and cabbage every day. Sounds like he's Irish or German. Thank you for the $5 donation. I appreciate that. My man Jackie Chan in that. You never have to apologize. I love when people apologize for being late. You never have to apologize for being late. Thank you for being here in the first place. You guys are the best. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for all you love, man. I appreciate that. Will Saquon win the MVP in the next 5 years? He could. You know, here's what I'll say. If the Giants make the playoffs this year, Saquon's going to be in the top 5 for MVP. Because they're going to rely heavily on him on the offense, and he's going to have a lot to do with this team's success. I'll say this. If there is a running back in the NFL right now that could win the MVP, it's either him or Christian McCaffrey. I'll say that right now. I definitely think he's capable of doing it. And LA doesn't like that trade. No fumbling. Jones ain't getting touched. Would you rather Kyler Murray or Daniel Jones? I would rather have Daniel Jones. I was not a Kyler Murray guy. Maybe Kyler Murray continues to prove me wrong. I think he's in a system that favors him. I'm not a Kyler Murray guy, and I'm not biased. I don't go over the top for Daniel Jones either. I'm not a Kyler Murray guy. I'll take Daniel Jones every time. I'm taking Daniel Jones over Kyler Murray. That's the truth. Chris, stream on... No! Chris, which New York football team will have the best record? I think they're going to be right around the same. I think they're going to be right around the same. I think they're both between 7 wins, 8 wins. I think they're going to be both around the same. If you're including the Bills are going to have the best record if you're including the Bills. I don't know enough about him, Ricardo. I've seen you ask that a bunch. I don't know enough about him to speak on him yet. I got to do more research on all the players we brought in. Don't know enough about him. I'm going to have videos up on all the undrafted free agents. Darnold or Jones? Again, too early to say. Right now, I'd probably favor Jones a little bit, but I still think Darnold could be really good. Last year was a nightmare season for Darnold. He had mono. You guys made the mistake that we didn't. Last year was the year that you guys should have done what the Giants did this year, and you kind of set Darnold back another year. You improved the offensive line in free agency in the draft this year. There's no excuses for Darnold after this year. You added a wide receiver. He's got to be better. And I think he could be, but we'll see. He's got a better foundation now. Right now, I'd lean Jones, but it's still too early to tell for both quarterbacks. Yeah, I know we picked up a quarterback undrafted free agent. I take Saquon in terms of talent. McCaffrey's a better player right now because of statistics, but I'm taking Saquon. Thoughts on I think Jamar Chase is ridiculous. From the highlights I've seen, the things I've read, I think he's going to be an elite wide receiver. Hey, man, do you think we missed out on Biotis and settled for Shane Lemieux? Also, do you think Parrott can be as good as Josh Jones? I do think he could be as good as Josh Jones. Everything you heard about Josh Jones was he was a project. He was a project with a lot of tools, much like Matt Parrott. So, yeah, I do think he could be as good. I think Parrott didn't get as much attention because he went to UConn. But he's got long arms. He's got good technique. He's got to put on some muscle. But overall, yeah, I do think he could be as good. And the first part of that question, I don't know. I don't think we reached on Shane Lemieux. Maybe they want to be honest. Maybe they didn't. We'll never know. I think that's why the Cowboys jumped the Giants because they feared that they might. But I don't think we reached on Lemieux. Lemieux, I think we actually got good value on. I think he was a 4th-round prospect, and we got him in the 5th round. So I don't think we panicked. We might have wanted to be honest. We'll never know. But I like Lemieux. I think Lemieux could take over for Zeitler in 2 years or even 1 year. If Zeitler, like I said earlier in the stream, gets hurt or you want to cut him to save cap space, if he's not playing as well, I think Lemieux has a future on this team. It might not be this year in the starting lineup, but I think he has a future on this team. And yeah, Biotis has bad knees as well. That's why he fell. How many touchdowns does Jones throw next year? I'll say between 28 and 31. Between 28 and 31. That's what I'll say. Saquon, Offensive Player of the Year this year. He definitely could. Saquon's going to get fed. Saquon's going to eat. If he stays healthy, Saquon's going to be up for offense. He's going to be up there for sure. It's hard to predict that going in because if Pat Mahomes goes out there with those 55 touchdowns, well, he's not going to win it. But he could. He could definitely be in the running, that's for sure. I think he's going to have a monster year, Saquon Barkley. Jalapeno sucks. Jalapeno is complete trash. Awful. Nelson. What's going on, Nelson? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. $2 donations. What do you think? Yeah, you're talking about the running back from New Zealand. Platzgummer. I think that's how you pronounce it. I have not done enough research on him. From things that a lot of my subscribers have told me, he's very fast. I'm going to have a video up on him tomorrow when I get to do more research. I'm excited to dive into him. He's definitely an interesting prospect. It's not every day that you get a prospect from Austria. So I'm sure a lot of my foreign subscribers are definitely interested in him. I'm definitely going to have a video up on him tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. And we'll see. You know, I hope he could add something to this offense. We could definitely use some depth with the running back. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Malik with the $5 donation. Chris, that Cowboy line don't know what's coming for the Giants defensive line. That line might break down. Dak, Dexter, Lawrence going to be dancing on them. Well, I'll tell you what, they lost Frederick, you know, so it's definitely not the same line that they had. That's not going to be an easy guy to replace. Arguably the best center in football, and you saw that offensive line the year that Frederick was out suffer. They were middle of the league, I think, in pass protection in 2018. This year they were second. So that's definitely a hole that they need to fill. Now, maybe Tyler Biadasz is that guy. He ain't going to fill in year one. The guy's got banged up knees, like Joe said earlier. It's probably going to take a year or two to get adjusted to the league. So that could be a big hole for the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to have to wait and see. Do you think DeAndre Baker will bounce back? I do. I've been asked that question a lot. Like, which player do you think is going to have the breakout season on the defense? I think it's Baker. And if it's not Baker, Baker could be in trouble. You know, based off the things we heard last year, how he's out of it, he's falling asleep in meetings. If he's doing that this year, he's gone. But I think Baker has a lot of talent. I think he needs to be used the right way. I think the prior coaching staff didn't do that. So this one I think will. I think Baker's going to be very good for the Giants this year. What is going on, Bavith? He says, Christopher, do you think the Giants will 11 games first or the Knicks? Oh, wow. That's a good question. I'll go with the Giants. I will go with the Giants. You know, the Knicks, I don't know if the Knicks are going to win 11 games this year. So, no, they probably already have 11 wins. I'm kidding. But they both suck, Bavith. I know you were kidding with that question. They both suck. But I think the Giants definitely have a much brighter future than the Knicks do right now. Chris Leone says, if the O-line can protect Jones, how many yards do you think he's going to average? Chris Leone, good question, man. Listen, 250. Average 250, I'm happy. I want you to be a run-first football team. I don't want to be an air-it-out offense. I don't think that plays to the strength of this team. The strength of this team right now with a adequate defense, maybe, they're definitely not great, is to keep that defense off the field, to win the time of possession. I want to run the football. Obviously, I want to pass as well, but I want to run the ball to set up the pass. Julian Love, biggest loser in the... He could be, Joe. It's a good point you bring up. But I do think they're going to find a way to get him in the lineup. It's a very versatile approach on both sides of the ball. I think they'll find ways and to scheme him into the lineup. What's up, Mamet? He says, Lemieux, according to PFF, is awful at pass protection. He also never played center at Oregon. I am not holding out much hope for him specifically this season. He won't have much time to prep. That's fair to say. I'm not projecting him to be a starter this year. I think it was a future pick. And I didn't read that. You know, I haven't done my research on him yet. I haven't done my video yet. One stat I did read about him was that I don't think he surrendered a sack last year. So, I did read that. But, I didn't look into that, and I'm sure I'll see that if that's accurate. But, yeah, I mean, he's a fifth-round prospect for a reason. But I do like some of the things that I saw in terms of the highlights. Seems like a tough, gritty guy. But will he be the starting center? Probably not. Probably not. He's a fifth-round pick for a reason. You think Jones can be elite? Do I think Jones can be elite? With the right foundation, yes. Yes. I mean, no. What's your definition of elite? You know, because your definition of elite and my definition of elite may be completely different. Elite to me is a top 3 or 4 quarterback in the league. I don't know if he's going to be that. And I don't need him to be that. Eli Manning was never that. Outside of 1 year. He won Super Bowls. He went to the playoffs. I don't know if he's going to be a top 3 or 4 quarterback. I think he's good enough to win. I think he's an above-average quarterback. Could you see us signing Justin Britt? Yes, but I worry about the injuries. He had an ACL injury last year. Who do you think the Giants why do you think the Giants didn't take an edge? Because I don't think they didn't take an edge because they probably felt like there wasn't any edges worth taking where they were picking. They felt like they were getting better value at the other positions. They didn't draft for need. We saw that. They took a guard in the 5th round. They drafted for the guy that they felt was the best player on the board at the time. And it was not a strong edge class. That's to me the biggest reason. Outside of Chase Young, there was not any elite edge rushers in this draft. So that's why, in my opinion, it was a weak class at that position. Let's see what we got here. Like me, you are low-key sad draft season is over. Like me, are you low-key sad? No, I'm not. No, I still think we're going to have football. I'm still optimistic about that. And I'm looking forward to talking about the team, man. I'm looking forward to talking about the roster, how they're going to scheme the roster, talking about the rookies, talking about the undrafted free agents. Got a lot to talk about the next month, 6 weeks. And then we'll see after that. Hopefully things get back on track. We get news that they're going to be playing, and then we go from there. But there's still a lot to talk about, guys, the next month and a half. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, Dustin, man, thank you so much, man, for becoming a member, man. I really appreciate that, man. Stand up, I got no voice. New member, Caleb Chason, elite. I don't view him as elite. I like Caleb Chason. I would have been happy if the Giants got him. Elite to me is a can't-miss prospect. I don't view him as a can't-miss prospect. I view him as a guy with potential. I don't view him as a can't-miss prospect. Let's see what we got here. What team do you think what team do you think they had the Ravens? Ravens had the best draft. Ravens had the best draft. Giants, I would say, in the top 6 or 7. Giants had a very strong draft, but I would say the Ravens had the best. I like Chason, but I don't know if he's elite. I like Chason. I think the 6'7" receiver has a chance to make the roster. I agree. I definitely think he can make the roster. And maybe even be used at the goal line. You're going to have him. You're going to have the new tight end, Toilolo. So you're going to have Toilolo, I think, is 6'7", 6'8" also. So, and from everything you hear, he's got good hands. He just doesn't create a lot of separation. But they're going to have targets now in the red zone. Go up and catch that ball in the corner. You got a guy that's 6'1" lined up on these guys. They go up and grab it. So it just gives Jones more options closer to the goal line to help him out. So Toilolo, to me, is one of the most underrated acquisitions on this team. The guy is known as a very strong blocker, and I love that. We're going to try to establish the ground game. You're going to use him in 2 tight end sets. He's not going to put up numbers. He's not going to be a fantasy guy, but he's going to be used as a blocker for the New York Giants in the run game, and I'm looking forward to it. Does Thomas have GOAT potential? What, the greatest of all time? No. Do I think he could be a Pro Bowler? Yeah. Do I think he could be a potential Hall of Famer one day? Yeah. GOAT? No. But I think he'd be a really, really good left tackle, and that's what I want. If you get a really, really good left tackle at number 4 overall, you hit on the pick. Because that's 10, 15 years of consistency. The guy that's going to protect for your quarterback for the majority of his career. Do I think Ballantyne and Beal are gone? I think Ballantyne is. I do. Maybe Ballantyne stays on because he was used at special teams last year. But when you look at the secondary, there are too many guys. I think Beal gets another crack. I could be wrong. I think Beal gets another crack. Ballantyne probably on the practice squad, but I'm leaning he's not going to make the 53-man roster. Ian, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I appreciate it. He says, if we win 7 games, is Judge job safe for 3 years? In my opinion, I don't care how many games we win the next 2 years. Judge's job should be safe for the next 3 years minimum. Minimum. You can't keep flipping coaches every 2 years. You cannot do it. 3 years. He's here for 3 years. If he's not, I'm going to be pissed off. But yeah, if he wins 7 games, obviously, but his job should be safe for the next 3 years regardless. You completely overhauled this coaching staff. You built this team. Now you're drafting players for Joe Judge's philosophy. You can't get rid of him after 2 years and then bring in another guy that these guys may not fit his philosophy. You can't keep doing that. We need stability. Got to give the guy a chance. What's going on, Delano? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. I see Taco's in here. What's going on, Taco? Stand up, Taco. Independent outsider with the $2 donation. I appreciate it. He says, UFA, that unrestricted free agent that most excites you. Great draft coverage, by the way. I really appreciate that. You know what, man? I got to do more research on the rest of the prospects because I really only looked into the wide receivers. But in terms of the wide receivers that excite me, I got to go with the 6'7" guy from Canada. You know, that's exciting. You know, if you could turn him into something, and you don't know, we might. You know, he's definitely worth a shot. He has pretty good speed for a man of that size, so I'm excited to see what he could do. You know, it's not every day that you have a 6'7" wide receiver. I'm excited to see him. I think it's going to be interesting. Derek Dillon's going to be exciting too. He's got 4.27 speed, so maybe he can help in the kick return game, things like that. But it was interesting because every wide receiver they brought in kind of had a different skill set. You know, some were tall, some were fast. So Richie Rich with the $2 donation, I appreciate it. He says Judge's job is not on the 3 years minimum. 3 years minimum has to be. You can't keep flipping these guys, Richie. Can't do it. Yeah, I like the speed. You can't teach speed. You can't teach height, like I said in my video today. So they both bring things to the table that you're not going to find in every wide receiver. It's not every day you have a 6'7" guy. It's not every day you have a guy that can run 4.27. So I like both of the guys for sure. Mac was drafted. But, oh no, you're talking about the wide receiver. What am I talking about? He was not drafted. Yeah, the wide receiver. I don't know. It seems like a lot of people like Mac, and I like some of the things I read about him. I don't know if he's going to he might make the roster. I don't think he's going to have much of a role. Just my opinion. He's 6'2", seems like a slot guy, kind of. Seems like a guy that's a route runner, yards after the catch guy, strong guy after the catch, but we kind of have guys on the team like that already. I don't know. I think the other guys have a better chance of carving out a niche, at least on this year's team. Of course I remember the hefty lefty. How could you not remember the hefty lefty? Rest in peace. You know, you want to hear a funny story about the hefty lefty, Jared Lorenzen? My friend, who unfortunately passed away also, which is ironic about this story, when Eli Manning was and obviously Jared Lorenzen passed away last year, when Eli Manning was not a rookie, first couple of years of his career, everybody used to hate on him. They used to say he should be replaced. My friend legitimately thought that Jared Lorenzen, going into the 2007 season, should be the starting quarterback over Eli Manning because he had given up on him. He said he wanted to see the hefty lefty. That's a true story. Malik with the $2 donation. I appreciate that. He says, I love Larry Fitzgerald. And how many years? Larry Fitzgerald is one of my favorite players of all time. One of my favorite players of all time that did not wear a New York Giants uniform. I respect everything about Larry Fitzgerald. One of my favorite players. The guy is just a guy that goes out there every Sunday and produces. Puts on his helmet, doesn't make excuses. The other thing I love about Larry Fitzgerald, he's the type of guy that does what's right for the team. He's changed his role multiple times. Used to be a guy on the outside, moves to the slot. He moves around. He does what the team needs to do. He blocks. I love Larry Fitzgerald. In my opinion, one of the top 4 wide receivers who's ever played the game. Is this a fair trade? Trade for Aaron Donald and a 2021 first and Evan Ingram. For what? What are we getting? What are we getting? Oh, we get Donald? I don't want to give up a first round pick. You don't know where we're going to be picking next year. And plus you're taking on a big contract there with Donald. I don't want to give up a first round pick. And I love Aaron Donald, but we're still a young team. I want to keep our assets. Which team had the worst? And to be completely honest with you, I think the Packers had a really bad draft. I wasn't really paying attention to them day 3. I thought the Packers had a really bad first 2 days. So if I had to pick a team, probably the Packers. But I don't remember the back end of their draft. Yes, Xavier. If I had to guess 7 wins, Dave stays. I think 8 wins is a lock. 7 wins he stays. 6 wins it's 50-50. Anything less, he's probably losing his job. Entertainer, would you have 9? I think I'd have 100, D. Grant. 100. How long until the Giants make the playoffs? Could be next year, could be the year after that. It's impossible to tell. There's no way knowing that right now. You know, injuries, things like that come into play. I think by 2021, it's definitely reasonable expectations to think they should make the playoffs. This year, they have an outside chance. That's the way I look at it. Taco says we had a bad draft. Taco is one of like 5% of Giants fans would think we had a bad draft. I honestly can't understand why anyone would think the New York Giants had a bad draft. I know some people might have wanted Simmons, but you got a player in the second round who's versatile in his own right. And you were able to secure that offensive line for the next, hopefully, 10 years at both tackle positions. I thought the Giants had a great draft. They filled the needs they had to fill. Let's see what we got here. Do you think Holmes can bench Baker? No. Baker's going to play on the outside. Baker's going to start the year. Unless he's sleeping in meetings, then he's going to get benched. But Baker's going to start the year opposite Bradbury. Malik, man, thanks so much for that, man. $2 donation, I appreciate it. He says, I feel like he can break the receiving record. Larry Fitzgerald? I don't think so. I mean, Jerry Rice, I don't know the numbers, but Jerry Rice, I think, has like 22,000 yards. Fitzgerald's got to be at least, I don't know what he's at. He's got to be at least 6,000 or 7,000 yards behind him. He'd have to play a lot longer. I don't see it happening, but I think Fitzgerald's like third all time, if I'm not mistaken, in yards. Might even be second. He's up there. I don't think he'll break the record. To me, that is the most unbreakable record in NFL history. To be honest with you, I never see it. I don't think a wide receiver is ever going to break that record. Jerry Rice was ridiculous. One of the greatest players who's ever played the game. DJ Smooth with the $2 donation. Do you think we beat Cleveland and the Odell game? I think we definitely. It's in New York, so I'd say we got a 50% chance to win that game. I think the Giants will be jacked up for that game. I think they'll be pumped up to try to win that game. So I'll give us a chance for sure. Yeah, I'll give us a chance in that game. Richie Rich with the $2 donation. Baker stays, but the Love Boat might sail. I like that, Richie. He might. It's all going to depend, on how things play out in training camp. There's definitely competition for that nickel spot, the slot, as well as the free safety. Let's put it that way. But even if he's not starting, I think they're going to find a role for Love. Like I've said all night, I think they'll find a role for Love. I really do believe that. What will it be? I don't know, but they're going to find a role for him. Let's see. What's going on, Card Coach? It was a pleasure talking to you today on Twitter. Great subscriber of mine. He's a member, man. Thanks for being here, guys. And anybody that may have popped in, if you haven't done so, please hit that thumbs up. I don't say it enough. Subscribe, ring the bell, join the channel. I'm going to try to do these at least twice a week going forward to keep our minds off of things, doing Giants Q&As, sports Q&As, as well as doing the Giants show once a week. That'll be this week, I think on, I don't know what day, but Wednesday or Thursday, I'm going to be on here with Bad Dog on my channel this week, so that'll be this week as well. So be on the lookout for that, and I'm going to keep giving you guys video content whenever I can. I'm going to try my best to keep up the sports content, so thank you guys for being here. DJ Smooth with the $2 donation. Daniel Jones versus the Ravens, Niners, Hawks, tough. And they got a brutal schedule, DJ. They got a brutal schedule. North and the West is no joke. Nick! I don't know if I said hello to you yet. Nick's a great subscriber of mine. Passionate Giants fan. One of my best. Always comments on my videos. He says, Thomas was the best left tackle and run block. Taco. He's talking to Taco. I like the taco emoji. That's why I saw the comment. You got me hungry, but I liked it. Drew my eyes to the comment. But yeah, Andrew Thomas to me was the safest tackle in this year's class. People got to remember Cruz was, yes, he was, Dennis. McKinney will play free safety. Yeah, McKinney's going to move around. He's going to play some free safety. He's going to play in the slot. They're going to move him around. It's going to be interesting to see where they play him. I don't think he's going to have a defined position. I really don't. It's a positionless defense. Thoughts of picking up Solomon Thomas? Not something I've really thought about. I don't think the Giants are going to bring in anybody else. I really don't, other than maybe Marcus Golden after what you heard today. But I don't expect, if they do, it'll be like undrafted free agent guys. I don't think they're bringing in anybody of notoriety. Just my opinion. Big Bang, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I appreciate it, man. He says, I think Exum can be, you talking about Zimenez? O'Shane Zimenez can be double-digit sacks if he gets more playing time. What do you think? Yeah, I said it earlier in the stream. I think I said 9 sacks, but I think he's going to lead the team. He's my pick to lead the team this year. And yeah, I think he's going to, I'll say he's going to be between 8 and 10 sacks. I think O'Shane Zimenez is going to play well for the Giants this year. He is a football player. I like him a lot. I was really impressed with him last year. He got better as the season progressed. We'll see, but I really like O'Shane. I really, really do. I'm a big fan of his. I might even buy his jersey. I really like O'Shane Zimenez. Yeah, Joe, I'm staying away from Britt. I might make a video on that because a lot of people have asked me to, but the ACL injury just scares the hell out of me, man. I don't want to bring in guys with injuries. I really don't. And he's not that. I think he had a 62 grade on PFF. It's better than Alpio, but he's damaged goods. I want to stay away from that. How do you feel about this 6'7" dude playing tight end? I think he's going to have a role. I think he's going to have a role whether it's the tight end or whether it's a guy in the red zone, going up catching balls, in the red zone. I don't think he's going to be a guy that gets you 700-800 yards, but I think he could have a role. We'll see, But it's definitely possible he could have some kind of role with this offense, and I'm excited to see it. He's one of the more interesting storylines going into training camp for sure. Tommy G says PFF gave the Giants an A grade and said we have the potential to be the 2017 Jags or 2018 Bears. Thoughts? I wouldn't rule that out. I'm just trying to go in with conservative expectations, but especially the 2017 Jags. Now, the thing is, to me, we don't have that defensive talent, but what the Jags did on offense, I think the Giants could do. The Jags were a ball control offense. I think that year they run the ball 52, 53% of the time, if I'm not mistaken. They ran the ball a ton. They kept that defense fresh. That defense probably looked better than it really was because of that. And if the Giants could establish that identity with the improved offensive line and Saquon Barkley, maybe they could surprise people like the 2017 Jags. Anything's possible, man. And me and PFF don't always agree. We agree there. I think the Giants had a really strong draft. Malik with the $2 donation. I feel like Cruz can be in the Giants Ring of Honor. That's a tough one. It really is, Malik. That's a tough one because he didn't have that many years of production. Not his fault, the injuries, but he was one of the three most important players for that Super Bowl. So, that's a tough one. I wouldn't be opposed to it. But because of the injury, because of he didn't play long enough, I don't think he'll get in. But if there was any one guy that deserved it, that had a 3 or 4 year stretch with the Giants, I would say it's him, but I don't think he'll get in. But he's a fan favorite. Fans love him. Other than when he went on the nude boat trip. Didn't show the best leadership there, but overall fans love him. DJ with the $2 donation. He says, Daniel Jones versus Joe Burrow in Ohio, thoughts? That's going to be a great storyline. It's going to be a great storyline. That's one that we're not talking about enough. Going up against the number 1 pick, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to getting after Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is going to struggle this year. Cincinnati Bengals do not have a good surrounding roster. We'll see. I love Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is going to be a great quarterback, but this year, I think he's going to struggle. And I think the Giants are going to be able to get after him. I'm looking forward to that game. It's a good storyline. Richie Rich with the $2 donation. He says, at Malik. I agree. In terms of Victor Cruz being in the Ring of Honor, there you go. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Justin Tuck, there's another guy. Osi Umenyiora, there's another guy. Those are guys that are potential guys to make the Ring of Honor. Will they get in? I don't know. But those are some guys that you could at least throw their names in the hat. Trade Ingram if the price is right. I don't think you're getting a price for him, in my opinion, until midseason that you'd be worth trading him for. I think he has to play good and show that he's healthy. Just my opinion. If we could get Clowney at a cheaper deal, I could see us being yeah. If we get or Marcus Golden, even, I mean, Clowney's definitely better than Marcus Golden, but if we even brought Marcus Golden in, that could help us. Even if he's a situational pass rusher, which he could be if you're only paying him what the projected salary is with this whatever, I forgot what it is, the UFA. So, we'll see. But, yeah, I think Clowney could definitely help out the team for sure. He's a very good player. He gets hurt a lot. And for the right price, I'd be willing to bring him in. I don't think the Giants are going to do it, though. Oh, you're right. Tuck is in the Ring of Honor. My mistake. And he deserves. I love Tuck. Draft grade between a B plus and an A minus. I'll give it an A minus. I said B plus because I'm trying to be as unbiased as I could be. I'll say I think A minus is a fair grade. I think they had a really good draft. I'll say A minus. Let's see what we got here. Tampa Bay game was a change of fortune from the end of the game. What did Taco say? Why did Taco get kicked out? What did Taco do? Thomas was the fourth. Oh, he doesn't like Andrew Thomas. What's going on, Sir Rap? DJ Smooth with the $2 donation. Daniel Jones in Seattle. Thoughts on that? What do you mean, playing in Seattle? Here's what I'll say about our schedule, DJ Smooth. One thing you got to factor in, especially Seattle. If it's going to be what we think it's going to be, where it's empty stadiums due to this, and it may or may not be that. And even if it's not empty stadiums, I don't think it's going to be filled to capacity. I really don't. So Seattle's not going to be as tough to play this year as in previous years. So that has to be factored in for places that we normally view as, these really tough places to play in due to the crowd. You're not going to really have to worry about that there if we're playing in stadiums that are filled to limited capacity. Now, if it's a filled-up stadium, yeah, that's going to be tough. That's one of the toughest places to play. What's going on, Brisk? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Daniel Jones, I think, may have an MVP caliber season. I hope so. I definitely hope so. If he has an MVP caliber season, that means we're going to the playoffs. Joe Judge versus John Harbaugh in Baltimore. I mean, I got to go with Harbaugh right now. Joe Judge has never coached a game. Harbaugh has won a Super Bowl. He's a very successful coach. I hope Joe Judge turns into Harbaugh. But right now, I got to go Harbaugh. Guy's one of the better coaches in the league. The Ravens are one of the best teams every year. What's going on, G? Everything's popping in the stream. Brandon Bassett, thank you so much, man, for the $1 donation. He says, here's a Washington. I appreciate that. What's our record going to be? I'll be optimistic. I'll say 8-8. I'm starting to get a little more optimistic. And maybe by the start of the season, I'll say 9-7. I don't know. I'm a fan just like you guys, but I'll go 8-8. I'm getting optimistic. I like what they did in the draft. I think we'll be able to run the football. I think it's going to help the defense. I like what they did on the defensive end. Why not? Let's have fun. Let's go in with some moderately high expectations. I'll go 8-8. Thoughts on Lorenzo Carter? I like Lorenzo Carter. I still think he's got potential, and I think that this scheme could fit his skill. When I heard Patrick Graham's philosophy, one of the first players I thought of was Carter, because Carter you could do so many different things with. He's pretty good in coverage. He's got long arms. He could play up at the line. You can move him around, play him off the edge. I think Carter could fit really well in the scheme. Now, it may not lend itself to statistics because of the way that they utilize him, but I still like Carter. I think Carter could be a good football player. What's up, Lestat? Thanks for popping in the stream. Is Ryan Conley a starter if he's healthy? If he's 100% healthy, he might be. He might be the other starting linebacker. Probably is. If he's 100% healthy. Next to Martinez. But, like I said, they're going to have so many different looks that they're going to throw at opposing offenses. What's going on, Maria? Thanks for popping in the stream. Hopefully Judge embraces a competitive culture. Nobody's job should be safe. Specifically, I think he's going to. I think that's what Judge's mentality is going in. He's going to bring in a ton of guys. They're going to compete, and the best guy's going to win. I think Gettleman's expressed that as well. What's up, Daniel Barry? Thanks for popping in. I agree. It's not going to happen overnight. The offensive line it's not going to be a complete unit overnight. You got a lot of turnover. It's a unit. They have to grow together. And you look at there's only 2 guys coming back from last year's line more than likely. So, yeah, I agree. It's going to take some adjusting, especially if it's a shortened training camp. You got to factor that in as well. Is Blake Martinez overrated? Depends who you're talking to. I think some people may underrate him. I think some people may overrate him. I think Blake Martinez is a solid linebacker. Do I think he's an elite linebacker? No. The people that look at just stats to see the tackle numbers, do they overrate him a little bit? Probably. But I like him. I think he's a good prospect. I do. I think he'll be a good leader for this defense. He's a smart football player. Went to Stanford. And part of the book on him is he's very good at reading the opposing offense before the snap, and we need a linebacker like that. And Omega with the $2 donation. I appreciate that. What's good, brother? Thoughts on? Listen, man, he's one of the guys I'm looking forward to, man. I want to see what the guy brings to the table. That's for sure. One of the more interesting guys at 6'7". And I think he'll be a fan favorite in training camp. People are going to be rooting for him to make the roster, and I'm going to be rooting for him. I've said it time and time again. I want the Giants to try to find a tall threat. You don't get much taller than that. So we'll see if he's got anything to his game, but just the fact that he's 6'7", he's worth a look. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he could do. Obviously he didn't go up against top-tier competition in Canada. We'll see what he could do, but bare minimum, maybe he could be a red zone target. Did I put extreme Giants fan on my Mamet, no. Right now I don't have a Tinder profile, but if I did, that might be what that might be. I'm probably going to have a Tinder profile after this whole thing because I'm going to start dating a lot again. And I probably will have that on my profile. That'll probably be my name, Extreme Giants Fan. My man, absolutely. Absolutely. Richie Rich with the $5 donation. She says, you and Bad Dog should do a tailgate party at a home game this year with all the guys from the... I'm doing that. If things are normal. You know, we don't know what life is going to be like, but if things are normal, I want to do that. We did it last year. Obviously, we didn't organize it well enough, and we weren't nearly as big. And I've talked to Fireside Giants. We're going to have a huge tailgate. I'm telling you right now, it might not be this year. You know, we got to see how everything works out, but we're definitely doing that. And I've talked to Fireside Giants who live closer to me. Bad Dog lives upstate, but Bad Dog's definitely coming for the tailgate. I'm also going to try to organize with them get-togethers at bars, things like that, watch parties for games, whether it's the playoffs, whether it's preseason, whether it's not, you know, even if it's not the New York Giants, just get-togethers to hang out with subscribers in the city. We're going to try to organize things like that as well, you know, so maybe even go to training camp. So there's things in the works, things I've talked about, so I'm looking forward to building the community, doing things like that. Sticky Fingers with the $2 donation. Can Joe Judge beat Matt Rule in a fight? Oh, does a bear shit in the woods? Joe Judge would bury Matt Rule in a fight. He would bury... Does Joe Judge look like the type of guy you'd want to get into a fist fight with? You don't mess with Joe Judge. DJ Smooth with the $2 donation. Chris, you're going to training camp this year if it's open to the public. If it's open to the public, yeah. I wanted to go last year. I'm definitely going this year. Malik with the $5 donation. Chris, I hope Joe Burrow does good this year except the Giants game because I see too many quarterbacks always being a bust, but I love the Joe Burrow. I love Joe Burrow too. I love the Joe Burrow. I love the Joe Burrow story too. I think Joe Burrow's got a lot of talent. I think he's gonna be a really good quarterback in this league. I really do. But I worry about Cincinnati. I worry about them failing him. But I think he's got the talent, Malik. I really do. I'm rooting for him. Would I marry a Cowboy or Eagles fan? Oh man. Yeah. You want me to be honest with you? Yeah. I would. Would we fight a lot? Yeah. But yeah, I would. But Giants fan obviously goes up. They, you know, if you're ranking them 1 to 10, you know, if they're a good-looking Cowboy fan, they're like a 7. If they're a good-looking Giant fan, they're like a 10. So the Giant fan definitely helps. And Bradley says Chris is, I can't even say that because I got no voice, but he says he's smooth with the ladies. Chris Jones says Chris about to show the ladies. Nah, I'd have to be beer, Chris. I don't got a six-pack. I don't got a six-pack on my stomach. Marjorie's in the chat. What's going on, Marjorie? One of my best. Glad she's in here. We should sign Cristiano. And Angel Clone Maria says, why don't people like going to raves with Dave Gettleman? Because he hogs all the money. That is a good joke. That's funny because when I had my reaction, I was yelling, give me the Molly! Give me the Molly! And people timestamped. They said, this is what I say. This is what Chris says at a rave. I felt like I was at a rave. But yeah, I was pumped up, man. I wanted that tackle. I really wanted that tackle. I was so happy when they did it. What's going on, Michael, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. Great subscriber of mine. Glad to see you here, buddy. Chris, my man, a bachelor for 10 out of 10. What's up, MVP? And no Yankee hat, MVP. I'm not wearing a Yankee hat. I married a Cowboy fan. Now I live in Texas. Oh, Irish. God bless you. God bless you. Gettleman to Mizrahi. That's why we love him, man. That's why we love him. Gettleman doesn't care. He don't care. You don't like me? Too bad. I'm going to do what I want to do. It's Pert, not Pearl. Yeah, Pert. I think it's pronounced Pert. Who would win, Bad Dog or Pat? Oh, God, Bad Dog. Bad Dog would level Pat Shermer. He would make his face look like Play-Doh. He would demolish Pat Shermer. When we went to the Giant game, I had to hold Bad Dog back from killing Pat Shermer. I thought he was going to jump over the the stands, run onto the field at the end of the game, and punch Pat Shermer in the face. I was worried about it. I had to hold him back. He was not happy at the end of that game. Griffin says, imagine Danny Dimes smoking a cigar like Burrow after... Oh, God. Please. If Barkley has 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving yards this year, are we going to the... We got a shot. You know? You can't put statistics on it, but we got a shot. Getty got fired because of his integrity. Yep. To me, Gettleman, Big Daddy, Gettleman to me showed that he cared more about his legacy than the money going into his wallet. That's what he did to me. He cares more about his legacy because he knows in the end he's going to be judged on whether this team wins championships or not, even if he's not here. Us educated Giants fans, we give Accorsi the credit for those Super Bowls even though he wasn't here because he's the guy who set up that entire team. So I think Gettleman realizes that. And he said, for Daniel Jones, the guy that my reputation relies on to succeed, I got to protect him. Even if it's not going to help me save my job, I got to protect him. I got to make sure he progresses. And in the end, if we win Super Bowls, I'll get my credit. What's going on, Talking Jake? Thanks for popping in the stream. Hakeem Nicks, I love Hakeem Nicks, but I would probably say not. I would probably say not, but I love him. You think that Matt Parrott will be able to develop quicker than people think and start at some point this season? I think he could. I think it's in Parrott's best. I think it's in the best in his best intentions for him not to start. I think you have enough depth on this roster for him to sit and to learn. Now maybe he starts the last 4 or 5 games of the year if your team's out of it. You want to get a look, but like Julian Love did this year. He started the last 4 games. I'm okay with that. Or if there's an injury, of course, you plug him in. But going into the year, I think it would suit him best to pack on some muscle, learn how to, hone in on his game. He's never played against top-tier competition. Learn in practice. You still got Solder on the roster. You still got Cam Fleming. I think it's in his best intentions to sit and learn for a year. And then he comes in as the starter, or like I said, maybe he comes in midseason. Yeah, Parrott. I'd like Parrott to start towards... Yeah, I'd be okay with starting towards the end of the season, though, depending on how the season's playing out. If we're going to the playoffs or we're in the playoff rush, you're not going to make a change to your line unless, of course, there's an injury, which we don't hope for. But if we're out of it, yeah, much like this year, give him a shot the last 4 games. I'm completely with that. New York for Life with the $2 donation. I appreciate it. He says, never eat Italian food or become a... Oh, God. Oh, my God. Well, if I never eat Italian food, I am going to be miserable. And if I become a Yankee fan, the first 34 years of my life were a complete waste rooting for the Mets. But the way I look at it is this. The first 34 years of my life rooting for the Mets was a waste anyway. So I'd probably root for the Yankees if I had to give up Italian food for the rest of my life. Italian food's a big part of my life. Big part of my life. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. Rudy Pat with a $2 donation. Is Fizz Vegas a real person? I've never seen his face. I've talked to him a lot off of YouTube. Obviously, when we collab, we talk on the phone, we text. Never seen his face. So he could be a robot, Rudy Pat. I don't know. Grim CeeLo with the $5 donation. He says, best player comparison of Xavier McKinney. I see some Honey Badger, both versatile, hard-hitting DBs. Honey Badger's a good one. I've seen a lot of people compare him to Minkah Fitzpatrick. And I'm not saying he's going to be as good, but I think he can be utilized like Troy Polamalu was. So those are some of the guys that I think are player comparisons. I think will be used the same way, a similar way to the way the Steelers used him. And I think that's why the Steelers brought in Fitzpatrick, because they viewed him in that role as well. Malik with the $5 donation. I appreciate that. He says, Chris, why does Taco against the Andrew pick? Because, Chris, you know me. I wanted Jedrick. I had him number 1, but I had Andrew at number 2. Listen, Malik, a lot of people wanted the defense. We get it. They wanted the flashy. They wanted the flash, Malik. We wanted the Hogma. We wanted the protector for Daniel Jones, the guy that's going to set up the run. That's what we wanted. Some people wanted the flashy player, and there's no doubt about it. Isaiah Simmons is going to be probably a great player, but we needed to tackle Malik, and we knew it. Simon with the $2 donation. He says, finished my homework and took a med gummy. Let this show begin. Simon, what's going on? Thank you so much for the love. True rap artist, man. Thank you so much, man. You're the GOAT. I like your collab with Fireside. True rap artist, man. A great, great subscriber of mine. Always shows love, always comments, donates. Thank you for being here. I had so much fun doing that. I could barely talk. I had no voice, kind of like tonight. But I had so much fun doing that. Those guys are great guys. Really nice guys. They're doing a great job with that channel. And I'm looking forward. I talked to them. I'm going to try to have them on my channel next week. I've always respected Mike Too Nice. I obviously didn't know the other two until they started that channel. They kind of are writers, I think, for Empire Sports. So, but, yeah, Mike Too Nice and me. The one thing I love about Mike Too Nice and why I always wanted to work with him, but we never had the same schedule because he went to school at night. But the one thing I always loved about Mike Too Nice, I thought he put in, even though I disagreed with a lot of his points, he always was very educated, put in a lot of work, backed it up, and I always wanted to work with him because we shared differing opinions on Dave Gettleman. And I always thought it would be a very interesting discussion. But yeah, I love that channel. I love working with those guys. Sticky Fingers with the $2 donation says, over under Daniel Jones 10 fumbles next year. I am going under. I'm going under. Under. Better be under. Right, he's on the rise. He better be on the rise. He better be on the rise, man. Tana, do you think the Giants could be the 2000s Chargers? Ooh. I mean, this year, I just want to be a team that wins 8 games this year. I want to have 10 years of sustained success. I'm not projecting a great team next year. I think we're going to be great, but I don't think we're there yet. Chris, if you could add one free agent to any position on our roster, which position would it be? Edge rusher. Edge rusher, for sure, Hakeem. Got to be an edge rusher. If the right one's there, of course. Malik with the $5 donation. He says the Jets game was so sad because then they beat up the Cowboys, but then they got blown out by the Bengals. That's the sad part. Yeah, that was the highlight to the Jets season when they beat. I actually live streamed that game. I think it was like on a Thursday. I can't remember. They beat the Cowboys, which was nice as a Giants fan. But yeah, the Jets. I actually think the Jets are gonna be decent this year. I think they have some talent. We'll see. Yeah, and then we once they lost to the Jets, I was pretty sure Sherman was gonna get fired. That was like the tip of the iceberg. You know, I was kind of still like, I don't know. You know, I like the stability. Daniel Jones playing well. Shermer's his guy. He's a quarterback guy. But once they lost to the Jets, the way that they did, I was pretty sure Sherman was gone. Hey there, Lake Nona. Thanks for popping in the stream. Cheerio to you, that mate. He says, I cried because we didn't have Jake Fromm. Let's see what we got here. Carson Wentz watching the Eagles picking. Oh, God. Could you imagine being Carson Wentz with the wide receiver core that they had? And I know they addressed the wide receiver in the first round. But they had the ability. He's a slot guy, Jalen Rager. They had the ability to get Denzel Mims there. He's getting excited. Or at least, get an offensive lineman, something to help me out. Or even go defense, whatever. But they go with a backup quarterback. Nah, I didn't get the pick. What's up, Swag Waffles? Chris, your channel means so much to me. I appreciate that, Ligma. Ligma, man, you guys mean the world to me, man. You mean the world to me, Ligma. All you guys do. What's going on, Meat? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Chris, do you remember Dave? Of course I remember Dave Tollefson. He's a good edge rusher. He was a rotational piece, but yeah, he was a good edge rusher. That's when we had like 6 guys that could get after the quarterback. Dave Tollefson was a tough football player. Yeah, I hate that CeeDee Lamb went to the Cowboys. Sticky Fingers with the $2 donation. Imagine Aaron Rodgers to the page. Oh God, please no, please no, please no. That Aaron Rodgers on the Patriots that'd just be silly. Be silly. You look. I said it earlier in the stream. You look what Aaron Rodgers had his whole career. Hasn't had the best coaching. Hasn't had the best weapons. They haven't drafted first-round wide receiver his entire career. Bill Belichick would get a lot out of Aaron Rodgers. What's up there, Drew? Do you think? Yes, I don't think that's the best fit there with the Green Bay Packers. That's for sure. Who do you hate more, the Eagles or Eagles? Eagles. And, ask me that question in 10 years, it might change. When I was a kid, it was the Cowboys. But the last 20 years, it's been the Eagles. The Eagles have beaten us in the most ridiculous ways possible. We can't beat that team. I have much better memories against the Cowboys than the Eagles. So, Eagles. Eagles are a thorn in our side, man. Eagles. Let's see what we got here. Yo, has anyone gotten the wood meme? I don't know what he means by that. If Peppers was solid at a weak position, what do you think he would be with McKinney? Very excited to see what Bradley. To me, the secondary and the defensive lines both had the potential to be above average. And if that's the case, we should have an average defense. But we need to be able to get after the quarterback. We need to be able to scheme that. And it'll be interesting to see how Patrick Graham and Joe Judge do it with this defense because we do not have an elite edge rusher prospect, but maybe some of these guys take a step up. Maybe Zimenez takes that step up. Maybe Fackrell, maybe Lorenzo Carter. And that's what the New York Giants are banking on. Maria is eating food. Well, I hope you're enjoying it. What are you eating? Chris, have you watched Sick Edits HD highlight video of it? I have not. But, oh, yeah, I know the channel you're talking about. I have not, but I will check it out. I did watch some McKinney highlights. I don't think I saw his, though. Post-draft record, I'll go 8-8, Crispy. I'm being very positive. I'll go 8-8. Jay says, put Evan Ingram in the wide receiver room at camp and don't ask him to block tall receiver at red zone target. I think they're going to use him more on the outside than he's been used in the past. I don't think he'll be a wide receiver. I do think that they'll move him around, though. I think they'll use him some at the tight end, some at the wide receiver, some at the H-back. I think they'll move him around, but I don't think he'll ever be a full-time wide receiver. Chris, you made sausage. There's nothing wrong with sausage and peppers, guys. So it's 11. What time did I start? I started at 8:50. We'll go to at least 11:30. Thank you to everybody for being in the stream. I appreciate all the support. You guys always show my channel as I try to conserve my voice a little bit. But it's been so much fun. Always love talking to you guys. I hope everybody's staying safe out there. Hope everybody is having fun. Everybody stay safe, man. That's the most important thing right now, is we try to get our minds off of what's going on in the world. Oh, man, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate the love, man. $20 donation. Great supporter of both mine and Bad Dog's channel. He says, Chris, I'm out, but you and Bad Dog are holding it down. You guys have it locked in. WFN and the likes lost connection with the people. You guys keep it. New York sports and the awesome subscribers make it pure. Love to the community. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that, man. I was actually talking to Fireside Giants about this after I went on their channel, and I said, this is the future, man, because when you listen to WFN, and I like listening to WFN, but you don't get the same experience. You're getting to talk to me one-on-one, but you're also getting to talk to the people in the chat. It's cool when you're driving in your car, but if I was obviously I make videos on YouTube, but if I was somebody that learned about the YouTube sports community, I don't think everybody does. I think a lot of people don't know about it. I think it's really cool to be able to talk to other fans in the chat, to be able to communicate with fans on comments, on videos. I think that has just as much to do with my channel as anything else. The community in itself. I present the topics and then you guys talk about it. But I think that is the coolest thing about YouTube, is the ability to be able to interact with your subscribers, and your subscribers to be able to interact with each other. Let's see what we got here. What's going on, Chaz? The Giants will go describe your experience when Eli beat Favre. Oh, God. Hakeem. First off, that's not even my best memory of Eli Manning, but that game is incredible. Giants, well, you got to talk about the whole playoff run. Giants get in. Eli had never won a playoff game. He was knocked out against the Panthers. I think his first, he lost to the Panthers. I think he lost to the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. His first two trips to the playoffs. Gets in, beats Jeff Garcia. Didn't think he was going to win that game because they always lost whenever they made the playoffs, Eli's years. Then they get to the Cowboys. Nobody gave them a chance there. Cowboys were the best team in the NFC that year. They go to Dallas and they win. And then you start to think, wow, something's building here. And obviously they almost beat the undefeated Patriots in the regular season. But then you get to Lambeau Field, and it's like negative 30 degrees with the wind. You see Tom Coughlin's face about to fall off. And the first play of the game set the tone. I think it was the first play. It was definitely the first play on offense, where Brandon Jacobs just leveled I think it was Woodson. I think it was Woodson, the cornerback on the Packers. And that just set the tone. And that's the type of football I want to get back to. But Eli Manning, that game was money. But the guy who really deserves the most credit in that game on the offensive side of the ball is Plaxico Burress. To me, that is the greatest single game I've ever seen a wide receiver have. He was going up against an all-pro cornerback. I don't know the numbers. He had to have at least 130 yards. He had like 10 catches. He undressed him. Eli played great, but in that game, the guy that really stood out to me was Burress. That was Burress's game. That game defined Burress's career as a New York Giant. That was his moment. To play the way he did in those conditions was insane. And then, of course, the kicker misses. Lawrence Tynes misses like 3 field goals before he finally makes it. I felt like it was never going to go in. But, I had so much stress throughout that entire game. But, yeah, Eli was money in that game. You know, when you factor in the conditions, he outplayed Brett Favre. Brett Favre had never lost in Lambeau Field in his entire career in the playoffs. I think he lost once, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe once, but he very rarely lost there in the playoffs. And Eli Manning and the Giants were money that day. It was Al Harris, yeah. Let's see what we got here. Do your videos get monetized by YouTube, or do you depend on the... Mehmet, they get monetized, but, you know, they get monetized. YouTube does, you know, the one thing that sucks, and I don't like to talk about this, but the one thing that sucks with the, with this whole thing going on, I did research. They're not paying as much as they used to for the ads because, I guess because advertisers don't want to pay YouTube right now because they're out of business. Nobody's flying on planes, whatever. Nobody's going to the movies. But, yeah, I do fairly well with the ad money on YouTube. I do pretty well. Can Slayton become a legit number 1 wide receiver? I think he could. I think he definitely could. Yeah, right now I'm not ready to say that. I think he's still a number 2, but I think he definitely could. Let's see what we got here. If you skip Edgewood, MVP, man. You don't got to do that. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Chris, do you think most young secondaries have as much trouble as ours did the past season? Or was it because Betcher? No. Simon, I think most do. I think most young secondaries do. I think most young teams. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Let me get some water. I think most young teams do, but I do think Betcher didn't put them in the best situation to succeed. I'll say that. V-Rock with the $5 donation. I appreciate that. He says, hi, Chris. What are your thoughts on the signing of Austrian running back Sandro? I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Sandro Plantscummer. I'm going to do a video on him tomorrow. There have been so many people have asked my opinion on him, even before I went live tonight in my comments. I know he's very fast. That's the one thing I keep hearing about him. He's incredibly fast. I'm going to do some research on him. I'm going to have a video up tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. But I'll definitely have that up tomorrow on him. But I'm excited, man. It's interesting, right? A guy from Austria. You don't see that every day. So hopefully he gets to make the team and hopefully provide some depth with the running backs. But I'll have a video up on him tomorrow after I do a little bit more research. How do you feel about Sam Beal? I mean, I think Sam Beal's definitely talented, but he's injury prone. The guy can't stay on the field. I think he's gonna have issues trying to find a role with this team, at least coming out of camp. We'll see. We'll see if he can earn his spot. I think he'll make the team, though. Cut Saquon Barkley, trade for Odell, sign Eli. What? What's up, Chris? How's it going? What's going on, Michael? I think Joe Judge was the right decision. I love Joe Judge. Is Marshawn Lynch done? Yeah, I think he's pretty close. I mean, how old is he now? 34? He's up there in age. He's pretty close. I know he came back briefly last year for the playoffs. Yo, Chris, give me Denzel Mims. You're talking about EDP. Hard Knocks will be covering both LA teams for what? Are they? I didn't even know that, Delano. So they're covering both LA. I have no idea that they're doing that. I mean, obviously the Raiders make the most sense to me this year, being that they're going to be in Vegas. I thought that would have been an interesting story. Any prediction for a surprise cut come roster cutdown day? Ooh, something I haven't thought about. A surprise cut. What would constitute a surprise cut? All right, let's go over the wide receiver. I don't think any of the wide receivers are going to get cut that would be, deemed a surprise. None of the quarterbacks that would be thought to be a surprise. Wayne Gallman. Does that count? Is Wayne Gallman a surprise cut? If he is, I could say him. I'll go Wayne Gallman on the offense. The defense, Sam Beal is a possibility. That would be a surprise, I suppose. There's a couple of names that I could see being a surprise. Sticky Fingers with the $2 donation. Favorite pie? Oh, penne. Penne bolognese. Penne bolognese. Well, Ballantyne to me wouldn't be a surprise. You're asking me for a surprise. Someone that I think most people wouldn't view as a guy that would be cut. I think Ballantyne is going to be cut. Or at least has a strong possibility of being cut. I don't expect Beal to be cut, but I could see it possibly happening. So that's why I say it's a potential surprise pick. Yeah, I love when the analysts doubt us, Kane. Love when the analysts. Thanks, Chris, for amazing content. Might be too early, but what do you think about Parsons out of PSU for next year? Projected to be the best linebacker next draft. Excited that Coach Spencer is a Giant. Well, it all depends on, where we're picking. I think that the Giants have to go edge rusher next year's draft class if they don't, add one in free agency, where they're still going to have a lot of money. So, to me, edge rusher is still our most important area of need next year. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. From things I've heard about him, he's a very good prospect. Yes, I think Pat Shurmur P's sitting down. Of course I like Big City, Luis. I appreciate that, Charlie, man. Thank you so much, man. Gary says we're picking 32. Yeah, let's do that. I hope we pick 32. That's the goal going in. Let's pick 32. Did he really, Delano? I didn't even hear about that. But I don't want him back. I don't want him back. I laugh when people tell me, not laugh, but it's not going to happen. People ask me all the time, do you think the Giants are going to bring Odell Beckham back? Do you think Joe Judge... Did you read the comment that Joe Judge said that I posted in my community notes? We're trying to build a team. We're not looking for independent contractors. We're trying to build a team. What does that say? We want guys that are about a team atmosphere. They're not me players. They're not superstars. They're not flashy players. Does that lend itself to Odell Beckham? Odell Beckham is the complete opposite of that philosophy. He would be the last guy that Joe Judge would ever want on this football team. Odell Beckham ain't going to be here. As long as Joe Judge is here, Odell Beckham will not be a New York Giant. Hey, Chris, got to go to sleep. Good night, all. Big Daddy, man, you have a great night, man. Thank you so much for being here. One of my best. Glad that you popped in, man. And I see that you follow me on the Twitter now. So, that's pretty cool. Tom Ty with the $2 donation. He says, bigger bust, Jerry Reese or Eric Flowers? Oh, Eric Flowers. Jerry Reese, to his credit, won 2 Super Bowls. Now, the first one, I always say, Ernie, of course, he should get the credit for that. Second one, Reese deserves credit, or at least partial credit. But Eric Flowers. Eric Flowers. What's your thoughts about EDP? He's funny. Could Odell be a Patriot? He could be. Possible. The Patriots have shown the willingness to bring in players like that in the past. But the one thing with the Patriots is they've already established that culture. Like, if the Giants got to the point where the Patriots are now, where they've established that winning culture, and teams know if they go there and they buy in, they're going to win, that's when I could see maybe Joe Judge saying, I'll take a shot on Odell. I'll give him a year. But right now, they're trying to establish that culture. They're trying to establish that winning, the winning culture. And until they do such things like that, they're not going to be bringing in players like that. Could the Patriots do it? It's possible. They did it last year with Antonio Brown. Jose with the $2 donation. Hey, Chris, when will I be one of your best? You're right. Jose, you're one of my best right now. Thank you for popping in. No, I talk to Big Daddy all the time in the Discord. He always writes like 2 paragraphs worth of comments on my videos. So I always like to shout him out when I can. Very knowledgeable subscriber of mine. Always shows my channel a lot of love. But so do you. So does everybody. Big Bang with the $2 donation. He says, I say we try Bartolo Colon. Big Bang would be a hell of a center. Hell of a center. That guy ate a whole stuffed pig one time for his birthday, believe it or not. And is one of my favorite athletes of all time because he weighs more than me. Let's see what we got here. Giants, NFC, I hope so. Love the vids, Chris. Thanks for following me on Twitter. You got it, man. I follow. Anytime you follow me, I try to follow you back. Well, sometimes I'll miss it. I've been gaining a lot of Twitter followers lately, so sometimes I'll gain like 20 in a day, and I'll miss 1 or 2, but I try to follow everybody. I've been trying to be more active on Twitter. It's fun, and obviously it's going to help me grow my audience on YouTube, so I've been trying to be more active, trying to get creative with some of my tweets, just talking Giants football, but yeah, it's fun getting to talk to all you guys on Twitter, whether you guys send me a private message, whether you talk through my comments. I love Twitter. What we got here? Let's see what we got here. Hurts for MVP, Legend says, yeah, Hurts for MVP. Maybe the Redskins, Giants, and Cowboys MVP. Certainly not going to be the Eagles MVP. Taco's the man. Are you kidding me, Taco? You're one of my best, man. Gave me a great suggestion for the Isaiah Simmons video. Always shouts me out on Twitter. Great subscriber of mine, man. So is Delano. So many people in here are phenomenal subscribers. Delano's been with me forever. Let's see what we got here. if we get a top pick next year, what position do you prioritize? Do we get the offensive tackle from Oregon? I would love the offensive tackle from Oregon. I'm a huge guy, but at the end of the day, if they feel Parrott is part of the future of this team, which I think they do, I don't think they go tackle. I think they're going to go with an edge rusher or wide receiver. But he might be a can't-miss prospect if he fell into your lap. Everything you read about that guy is unbelievable. So you never know. Hopefully we're not picking that early. What is Eli's greatest career regular season game? I might be in a loss. The Saints game, I think he threw 6 touchdowns, and they lost. So he played unbelievable in that game. I mean, might be that game. There's a bunch of games that pop off, but it might be that one. Chris Sonor's in it. By the way, Chris Sonor, one of my best. I didn't see you in here earlier if you were typing. Love Chris Sonor. All you guys are one of my best. I'm not trying to... But Sonor, if you could post my... A lot of people ask for the Discord. If you could post my Discord link in the chat, I would appreciate it. Always trying to add people to the Discord community. It's a lot of fun. We talk Giants football in there. It's like a big chat all day. So anybody that wants to join that, you're always more than welcome to. Wide receiver. Missed that there. Should we go after Yannick next year when he's an unrestricted free agent? He's going to cost a lot. If you think he costed a lot this year, he's going to cost a lot next year. The market's going up. Don't rule it out, though. Don't rule it out. And there's the Discord. Anybody that wants to join, anybody that ever asked for the Discord, if you're still in here, just look at Chris Sonor's name right there, right underneath the Super Chat. You can join it right there. Jose with the... I appreciate that, man. $2 donation. He says, good night, bro. Thanks for being awesome. No, thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being a great supporter of my channel, and thank you for tuning in and talking sports with me, man. I appreciate it. Should we go after Yannick next year when he's an... you already asked that. I already answered. I don't think we will. I think they're going to try to build through the draft. But they might. There were rumors. There were rumors that the New York Giants, after he was franchise tagged, were interested in him. So, before he was franchise tagged. So it's possible. We got to also got to take into account how much they're going to have in cap space, and I'm going to have a video up on that. We're going to go over that and some of the things they could do to create more of it, and some of the players they could be looking at. And Yannick's certainly one of them. But the thing what I'll say about Yannick, I expect Yannick to get traded, and I expect Yannick to, wherever he gets traded, to probably sign a contract extension. And if that's the case, he won't be on the open market. So you got to factor that in as well. Chris, will you still make a winners and loot? Yes, Mike. I'm definitely going to do an NFC East video, but right now I'm trying to catch up on... I got a lot of Giants content I got to do. I'm going to do an NFC East division breakdown for the draft. Talking about the Cowboys, the Redskins, like I did with free agency. I'll probably have that up in, I don't know, like 2 or 3 days, because I want to catch up on some other stories with the Giants, break down the players. I feel like once I talk about all the individual players that the Giants drafted, which I'm doing one a day along with other stories, that's when I'll get into videos like that, like the NFC East, maybe do a winners and losers in general of the NFL draft. Even though I know it's coming out late, I'm trying to do all my Giants content first, but I will probably do something like that. Oh, thank you so much, man. X-Man, a new member to the channel, man. Stand up, new member. I appreciate that, man. And be on the lookout for the comments in the community post. I appreciate that, man. Welcome to the channel. And is that O'Shane Zimenez? Is that Xavier McKinney? Did I just get Xavier McKinney to become a member on my channel, man? I appreciate that. Chris, over under 25 carries per game. I'll go slightly under. I think it'll be 23... but I think he's going to get a lot of touches. I think he'll get 4 or 5 catches a game, 23 carries a game, something like that. He's going to be heavily utilized. Did you watch The Last Dance? No, I didn't. I watched part of it. I got to catch up on that series. I've watched parts of both the first week and the second week. I haven't watched the whole thing of either one. I got to catch up on both. I saw parts of Rodman last night, though. Rodman was always an interesting player. Okay, entertainer looking so snack-worthy today. MH is the man. Belichick said that the quarterback he has is better than any that were in the draft. Listen, Belichick's going to believe in the guys that he has. He always has, and he's always been a really good evaluator of those players. Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't an early-round pick. Tom Brady, not an early-round pick. Brissett, Castle, and they all had some success. What's going on, Michael? Thanks for popping in the stream. My realistic prediction, between 6 and 8 wins. And I'll go 8 because I'm trying to be positive, but between 6 and 8 wins. Do you think, Afghanistan says, I don't care about Rodman. Afghanistan's the man. Do you think Freddie Kitchens will have an impact? I hope. He's the tight ends coach. I don't know how much of an impact he's going to have. We'll see. Not really. Not much of one. I think other coaches on the roster are much more important. Shaplinski, the quarterback coach, I think could definitely have a big impact from some of the things I've read. Obviously, the coordinator is going to have a huge impact. But yeah, so in terms of the positional coaches, Coach Chaos, I think, could have a big impact. Bielema, with his experience. But I like a lot of the coaches on this roster. I really do. Evan Ingram is our biggest asset in the trade market. Yeah, I agree with that. If he's healthy. I agree with that. If they're looking to trade a player this year, Ingram and Tomlinson. I've said all along, I think those are the two biggest assets. Stidham is the starter of Peyton. Yeah, that's what it looks like, NFL Nation. I think Stidham's your guy. What's going on, Kush? Cushman in the chat. What's going on, Kush? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. We got the toughest schedule in the league, I hear. You think Gettleman is fired? I hate to say it. It's at least 50-50. He's not going to make it out of the year. I like Gettleman, and I don't think it's the right decision. But, yeah, I think it's 50-50. 50-50. I think Gettleman's done a good job drafting, but at the end of the day, the New York market's not going to put up with another losing season. They're going to want change, and that's why I was in favor of just blowing it up last year, starting from scratch with a new GM and a new head coach. But the plan might be, we don't know this, the plan might ultimately be to promote from within with Abrams and make Joe Judge basically be the personnel guy. Make Abrams be the dollars and cents guy, the guy that manipulates the cap, things like that, but Joe Judge be the guy that has his hands on the roster. That could be the ultimate plan. That's why Joe Judge has had a lot of say in some of the moves they've made. That could be what they plan on doing eventually. We won't know, but could be. Wouldn't rule it out. I have not, Kyle. I've been so busy. I have not had a chance to watch anybody's videos today. Oh, Grim, man. Thank you so much for the love, man. I appreciate it. $2 donation. In Garrett's offense, who serves as the X? Slayton. Yeah, I think Slayton. I think Slayton's their guy. It's going to be interesting to see who's the other guy on the outside. Whether that's Shepard, whether that, because I think Tate's definitely much more of a slot guy. Shepard is a slot guy, but I think you can move in and out. Or whether it's one of these undrafted free agents. Or Corey Coleman. That'll be interesting to see how they play that out. But yeah, I think Darius Slayton is going to eat this year. I think Slayton and I think Ingram are going to eat. I think they're going to be their I don't have to be the most targeted, but I think that I think that Slayton's going to have a huge yards per catch. I'm talking like 17 plus, especially in this offense. I think he's going to catch a lot of long passes. He's going to be used in the vertical passing game. I expect him to have 1,000 yards and 8 to 10 touchdowns. I think he's going to have a good year. Sticky Fingers with a $5 donation. Leo filling against New York for the DT tag. Wanting more money with one sack makes me hate him. Dave gets trashed for that. Trade Leo, throw dirt, and an extra $1 million. Disgusting. I get it, man. That and he deserves hate for that. He deserves hate for that. And I get Giants fans to pour it on for that. I still to this day don't understand that move. I understand the tagging. I don't like it, but I understand it because you traded for the guy. But I don't understand why you traded for him. I still to this day do not understand that. I really don't. But like some of my subscribers have said, you look at the Patriots. They give up a second-round pick for Mohamed Sanu, but at least devil's advocate, the argument for that was at least the Patriots were in contention. Mohamed Sanu's not a very good wide receiver. He's older, and he definitely wasn't worth the second-round pick, but at least they were competing to win a Super Bowl, and they felt like they needed somebody to help out Tom Brady. That trade never made sense to me. Never made any sense to me. You were 2-6. You weren't going anywhere. Big Bang with the $5 donation. He says, I don't think we have to make the playoffs for Gettleman to be safe. You agree with that? I would like us to not have to make the playoffs for him to be safe, and I do agree with that to an extent. I think 7 wins he's safe. 7 wins he's safe. 8 wins he's definitely safe. I think 7 wins he keeps his job. 6 wins, you're playing with fire. 5 wins or less, I think he's gone. What's going on there, Andy Garcia? Thanks for popping in the stream, my man. Thank you to everyone. We still have almost 500 people in here. We had over 600, I think at 40 or 50 at one point. You guys have been incredible this whole night. It's 11:25. We'll probably go another 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Then we'll call it a night because I got to conserve my voice. I'm already losing it, if you could tell. Got to make some videos tomorrow, and I'll be live probably the day after tomorrow. Going to take a live day off tomorrow. Probably be live the day after. That's probably going to be the Giants show. And then I'll probably live later in the week, Friday or Saturday, as we continue these hangouts. So I'll keep doing this as much as I can, guys. We out here in Queens. What's going on, Kane? Should they add an 8 seed to the... No. No. 7's enough, man. 7's enough. I don't like when there's too many playoff teams. What's going on, Davey? He says, there's any justice in the world we will win at least 8 games and keep... I'm with you, Davey. Davey and me, we think alike. We think alike. We think alike. Davey's a big hog molly guy like myself. And that's why I think we both like Dave Gettleman. That's the biggest reason. I think... What's going on, Stealth? I think Dave Gettleman... I get why everybody hates him, but I think that's why I like him, because I like his philosophy. I like how he wants to build a football team. So that's my mindset with him. Sticky Fingers with the $5 donation. I mean, even after the trade, Leo filing the grievance for an extra $1 million makes me hate Leo more. Sorry, couldn't spell it all. 150 characters. No, I get it. I completely get it. But in fairness, here's what I'll say. And as fans, I hate him too. I hate that he's doing that. But if you put yourself, I always try to put myself in the player's shoes. He's not going to win that grievance first off. He only took, I think, 15 or 20% of snaps on the end. He's going to be a tackle when it comes to the tag. I can't blame him for trying to get as much money as he can because it's a business. And at the end of the day, the team can cut him whenever they want. So he's got to try to make as much as he can while he can. So I'm not going to, I don't think he's, I don't blame him for doing what he's doing. But Gettleman should have never had to tag him in the first place. He should have never traded for him. So I think in the end, he's going to end up getting tagged as the tackle, though I don't think he gets the end price. And Matthew, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I appreciate it. When is this? They said it. I think it's in like 2 weeks. And Matthew says, any chance McKinney brought in to replace Peppers? And thank you for posting my Twitter, Sonor. I appreciate that. Sonor's the friggin' man. That's a possibility too that we haven't really talked about. And we're going to find out in a week what the Giants' long-term plans are with Peppers. I think they're going to extend them on the rookie deal, but maybe they don't. It's a good question because they are somewhat similar, but I think they could implement both in this defense. You can move, you could move Peppers to the linebacker in some packages. You can move McKinney around. I think you could use both of them. I still think Peppers will be here for at least another year, if not more after that. But he could be the long-term replacement for Peppers. That's very possible. They may not have Peppers in their long-term plan after the 5th year on his rookie deal. Sticky Fingers, thank you so much, man, for the $2 donation. He says, if he does get DN money, can we rescind the tag? I mean, I would think we could rescind the tag now if we wanted to. Yeah, and I would hope they would, but he's not going to get it. I'd be shocked if he gets it. Sean G, did that work? I see you in the chat. How about putting Jabril Peppers at middle linebacker, Xavier McKinney at strong safety, and Love at free safety? Like I said, they're going to move them around. They're going to move them around. I don't think any of these players are going to have a defined position. I really don't. Do I think McKinney's better than Landon Collins? Way too early to say. I mean, Landon Collins, for as much grief as I give him, as much as Giants fans hate him, as much as Bad Dog rags on him, Landon Collins was not a bad football player. Landon Collins was a good football player. Landon Collins had his weaknesses, and that's coverage. But I think Landon Collins got exposed because of how poor the defense was around him. And he was asked to do things he wasn't capable of doing. But Landon Collins in the right defense is still a very good football player. Is he worth what he's getting paid? No. But I still think he's a good football player. If McKinney's as good as Landon Collins and we surround the defense with the right parts, I'd be happy. So I hope McKinney's better, but Landon Collins is still a good football player. Malik, man, thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate that, man. $10 donation, I appreciate it. He says, Chris, I just got the NFL Game Pass, and I'm going to watch a lot of film. But I'm especially going to watch the good old days for the Giants. And I'm already replying our first game we were on. Yeah, I tried watching. I have the Game Pass, too. I tried watching the old games. It only goes back, I think, to 2009. So you can watch all the way back to 2009. So it's really cool. And I'm going to invest in it once you have to pay for it if we have a season this year, which I think we're going to. And I'm going to do a lot of film breakdown videos. I'm going to try my best to give you guys the best I could do. Breaking down the quarterback play, the defense, make individual videos for that. It's really cool when you get to see the bird's eye view, how the coaches see the game. So Yeah, it's definitely really cool. A cool feature for football fans, Malik. You heard about us offering Golden a contract today? Yes, I made a video on it. Stupid videos. It's not really it's kind of like, it doesn't mean he's staying here, but they put I think it's called the UFA on him, and teams still have the option to sign him. LeGarrette Blount was given this in 2017. The Eagles still signed him. So, but it has something to do with now, because they did that, there's a stronger chance that the Giants will be able to keep him, because I misinterpreted what Art Stapleton said initially. I think it has to do with, had they not put this tag on him, teams would not have had to lose capital when it came to the supplemental picks. And now they do, because they did that. So maybe it will scare teams away from signing him. I still think he's going to sign elsewhere. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think we get him for $4 or $5 million a year. But if we do, that's a win. Do I think baseball will have a season? Yes. I don't think it's going to be a full season, but yes. Sticky Fingers, thank you so much, man, for the love, man. $5 donation. Did you see Lemieux's interview with thegiants.com? Made me want to fight my dog. Tough, hard-nosed kid. I want him to succeed at center. I like the kid. He is tough, Sticky Fingers. And I did see the interview, and I cannot wait to do more research on him and have a video up for you guys in about 3 days. But I'm a big fan. Reminds me a lot of Will Hernandez. Tough kid, gritty kid. Love the kid. Danny Moiga with a $2 donation. Honest grade on our potential defense next year. I think we could be close to average. I think we could be an average defense. I think we could. I'm not saying we will be. I think we definitely could. When you really look at our defense, if it's coached properly and they fit the scheme, the defense could be a lot better than it was last year. You got to factor in that these younger players are going to get better. I like some of the free agents that they brought in. I'm not predicting average, but I think they could be. I'll say around 20. 20. But they could be close to league average. I really appreciate that, Everett, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Charlie with a $2 donation. He says, love you stuff. See, remember, check Instagram. Good night, bro. Yeah, I'm going to go on there right after, Charlie. I don't know your name on Instagram, but I'll check my messages, and I'll definitely message you back as soon as the stream's over. And Stealth, thank you for posting that. Are tackles a telling stat? Yes and no. You know, if you look at film breakdowns, sometimes guys get tackles just for pushing a guy out of bounds. Like, yes and no. But, yeah, I think it's important. If anything, if a guy leads the league in tackles, it means he's durable. And it means he's got a nose for the ball. So, yes and no. I don't think you can completely judge a player based off of that. I'm afraid Lemieux will take a coach's punch in the nose. Davey, you might be right, man. But he's our type of guy, man. I like Lemieux. Who do you think starts a linebacker? If he's healthy, definitely Martinez. And if he's healthy, Conley. I'll say that those will be the two starting middle linebackers. Is Daniel Jones a potential Hall of Famer? 100%. Give him the offensive line, give him the running game, give him the defense. He'll get it done. He'll get it done. Got to give him the support. What's going on, MYG31? I barely use Instagram. If you guys want to talk to me, you're better off going. I don't know if you guys have it. You're better off going on Twitter. I use Twitter a lot more often than I use Instagram. But I do have an Instagram, and there it is. Stealth just posted it. But if you message me and I don't respond for 2 weeks, don't get upset. I don't go on Instagram a lot. That's something I need to start doing more. But I do go on Twitter all the time. What's going on, Kalen? Thanks for popping in the stream. I think I do, Stealth. What's up, John? 469 people still in here. I'm going to wrap this up in 6 minutes. We'll wrap it up at 11:40 because I'm losing my voice. I'm going to have to drink more tea after this, but I wanted to go live. I wanted to talk about the Giants with you guys, talk about the draft, have a good time, take our mind off things, and kind of just celebrate what just happened. Like I said, I'll be doing this later in the week. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to try to do these twice a week along with the Giants live show where we alternate channels, and I'll have a ton of videos up. So hopefully you guys check it out. Hope you guys stick around. Malik with the $2 donation. He says, Jenkins sucks. Can't cover. Yeah, Jenkins the last. I'll say this. Jenkins this year wasn't that bad. The 2 years prior wasn't the best. Wasn't the best. Definitely a good pass rush. Yeah. What's going on, K-Dog? Thanks for popping in, man. Glad to see you, buddy. If I was the Giants GM, I would trade 2 hog mollies and a partridge in a bear tree. We can't trade our hog mollies, D. Grant. You know, we need the offensive line, man. We're not trading the offensive line. We need the offensive line. Now, by hog mollies, maybe you mean defensive tackles. I'm like an hour and a half behind. I have no creativity, says, well, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, buddy. You think Love or Baker starts? Do I think Love or Baker starts? I think Baker's definitely starting. I think Love 40 to 50% starts. But Baker's locked in. Baker's starting. Oh, so, Sticky Fingers, man. Thanks so much, man, for all the love you showed me tonight, man. Really appreciate that, man. $5. Does Conley not being a Joe Judge guy risk him falling through the cracks? A lot more of those videos because, after May, when there's not so much draft content to talk about, and if it's a dead time because we don't have mandatory minicamp, I'll probably do more of those film videos. But I was looking into his film. I'll tell you what, man. To me, Conley impresses me on film. That guy's a nose for the ball. He's really good at reading the play, reading the run before it happens. He's much better at coverage than people give him credit for. I think Judge is going to be impressed with Conley when he watches him on tape. I do. Conley, to me, looked like a sufficient linebacker in those first 3 or 4 games. Now, can he do it for a full season? That I don't know. Is he the same player after the injury? That I don't know. But he looked impressive to me. What are your thoughts on R.J. McIntosh? I don't know if he's ever going to get to crack the lineup, man. Best secondary in the division. It's not the Cowboys. Eagles added a nice piece there. It might be the Giants, but the Giants have a really good secondary, man. The Giants got a really good secondary. If they're not the best yet, I think they're going to be sooner than later. Hopefully Saquon won't have to juke behind the line of scrimmage with an improved O-line this year. Hit the hole, man. Hit the hole. That's what it's all about. And BB13's laughing. He says, there's no way. There's no way you're going to tell me my Cowboys don't have a better secondary. Asia with the $5 donation. She says, I just came from the Sports First stream, and they were also laughing at the Eagles. The Eagles, not a good pick. It's not a good pick, Asia. Not a good pick. But I appreciate you tuning in the stream. I really appreciate that. A BB13, we're just talking secondary. As a team, I'm giving it to you guys. Cowboys are a better team. But I think we have a better secondary. You're a better team. This is for anybody in the chat. Would you date Miley Cyrus or Taylor Swift? Oh, God. Wait till you check out the 4th round pick. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to dive into him, dive into his background. I'm impressed with some of the things I've already seen, but I'm definitely going to do Parrot tomorrow if I have a voice. And I will also dive into any current stories. I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2, being that, there's a lot of stories coming out after the draft. I'm sure I'll have a couple videos out on that. I'm going to talk about the Austrian running back. I'm going to have a lot of videos out for you guys tomorrow, so at least 3. So hopefully you guys keep watching. Hopefully you guys keep supporting the channel. Talking Giants with me, man. That's what this Giant... I always say, man, this channel is just as much your channel as it is mine. I want you guys to feel like it's your channel. I don't want it to be my channel. I want it to be a Giants channel. So I appreciate everybody for being here. I appreciate everybody for watching my videos. And I appreciate all the love and support you guys always show me in the live streams, in the videos, hitting the thumbs up, subscribing, and just talking Giants football with me. I'm just a fan just like everybody else. And there's the Discord party after. Tina, how shocked are you that we didn't take a DT in the draft? I thought we were going to take 7 DTs. No, I'm kidding. A little shocked. I thought maybe we'd throw a 7th round defensive tackle in there just to troll the fans a little bit. Thanks, Chris. Good night. You got it, Gary. Guys, we're going to wrap this up because I have no voice. I just want to say thank you to everyone for all the love, all the support you always show my channel. Always tuning in the live streams. I say it all the time because I mean it. I really believe it. You guys are the best supporters on YouTube. The best subscribers on YouTube. I have the best subscribers. I can't say it enough. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for everything you do for me, my channel, for my life in general, and the support you show me on YouTube. As always, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.